Hi y'all, if you coming catfishing with me today, you best grab your poles, get your snacks, and let's go. I done got us a floor full of bait here. Got some fresh gizzard shad. We've got some on the floor here we're gonna use as cut bait. I got some in the bucket here I've kept alive. We're gonna use live and cut bait today and try to bust some catfish, and who knows, you throwing a live bait out here behind you as you move along up the river here, you might get catfish, you might get drum, you might get stripers. You just never know what's gonna hit. And so we're gonna take a big stretch of this ledge right here. We're gonna work up it, and then we're gonna go into a creek system, work our way in and out of it. So got about, I don't know, somewhere between a half a mile and a mile of this ledge that we're gonna work before we get to that creek. And I marked some, I'll show you right here on the graph before we drop baits down. Right here under us, there's a little pocket that goes up in here to the left. Right out here in front of this is some bait down here at the bottom, and that looks like a mark there under that bait. So I'm gonna go ahead and get these lines out. We're gonna start right here where we're seeing this at, and then we'll progress forward and see what all we can get into today. I'm excited about it. I hope y'all are too. If you ain't excited about catching a fish, there ain't much more I can do for you folks. So I don't know what you're doing here, but we're gonna try to catch a few today. And good news is, if you're seeing this video, we caught a few. So for our cut bait, I'm gonna take these gizzard shad here are, I don't know, 5-6 inches in length, approximately. I'm just gonna run this hook up under the gill plates, right between the eyes there, bring it out. And they're good, like I said, they're good and fresh. I launched my kayak in a creek, and that creek is just full of shad right now. I mean, they're in there thick. I made 2 throws and had us all these, plus I stuck some in the cooler too for tomorrow if I actually get to fish tomorrow. So got that shad. I just cut the tail off here. We're gonna get him bleeding a little bit. I've got this on a dragging rig. That's a 3-way swivel down to float and rattle, down to a 10-aught size circle hook. The dragging sinker there, 40-pound main line. I'm just gonna toss that out behind us a little bit there. And we'll let out some more line once we get moving here on it and get on the move. This rod here has the same exact setup. We're gonna be fishing 2 rods that are dragging, and we're just gonna free line one of them live shad behind us. I'm gonna let him just swim about wherever his little heart is content to go, but he's gonna be more on the upper end of the water column, whereas these dragging baits are going to be down there on bottom. Now this gizzard shad here is a little bit bigger size right there, folks. That's a nice hand size one right there. I'm going to do the same thing with him though. I just want to get rid of the tail, get some blood going out there on the trail behind it. You know, we're creating a little dust trail as we pull along, and our dragging sinkers are down there on bottom kicking up some mud. This shad is going to be putting off the slime and the blood and all that going off behind him too, which will create the blood trail along with the visual trail from the dust getting kicked up down there. And I'm seeing some more right there on the graph, man. That's a school of shad. There's some marks under it. It might be wise just to sit here a minute and see what happens. But we'll get that, we'll let that fall on down. Let's get this out of the way. Then we'll put on our live shad, and me and you, we're gonna be fishing, folks. We're gonna be trying to catch some cats today. Wouldn't hurt my feelings if we had some bycatches like a striper or big drum or whatever. I just want to get some action, man. I want to get some bites. I want to have us a good time out here. I'm all about having a good time. So our rod here, this is a lighter tackle rod. It's a inshore medium heavy. I've got 30-pound braid down to a leader that's about, I don't know, 3-4 foot long here of 30-pound fluorocarbon, and I've got a, I believe that's a 3/0 size, 3/0 or 4/0 size shiner hook, a thinner wire hook here, and I'm gonna get one of this gizzards here. I tried to put some of the smaller ones. We may actually go, let's go right out the nostrils like that on him. So he's still alive. There he goes. Yeah, there he's gonna swim a little bit. I'm gonna toss him out. Well, I've ran my damn swivel up here. Hold on a second, y'all. I ran my damn swivel up through there, the last guide of my rod. But let's toss him out there behind us. I want to get him back about, I don't know, 30, 50 yards or so behind us. So I'm going to come off spot lock now. And we're going to start working up this. It's a ledge that comes down to a deeper flat and then off into the river channel. And I'll tell you why we're doing this versus being back in the creeks right now where all the bait's at. You could make an argument either way, but right now I really want to test out what's going on out here. I want to know if there may not be as many fish out here, but we're going to have less bait to compete with out here. And it don't matter how many fish are in a particular area, if you can't get your bait to stand out, then you're not going to catch them, right? Like it's hard to compete when there's 5 million shad all bunched up. All right, we got that out. I'm gonna back off my drag just a little bit in case he gets smoked there. We've got a real thin wire hook, so it shouldn't matter if our drag's a little looser on that. Actually, I want to let out a little bit more. So I want to get some distance between us and him. All right. That'll do for now. I got 3 more of his friends in that bucket there, folks. I'm gonna back off our speed. We're gonna go about half a mile an hour. Look at all this right here though, man. All kinds of bait. There's definitely some fish there under it. I was curious what's going on out here in the main channel. The last trip out, there's about 4 or 5 of you that watch these videos regularly. So I fished a creek and netted some shad. We started fishing right there where we were netting shad and worked our way out to the entrance of the creek, right? Caught a big fish, got a huge blue. Oh, look, my gosh, we're hooked up. I'm letting out line now, and that thing starts ripping out. Are you kidding? This will make sure he ain't got it and swimming toward us. No, he let it go. Did you see that way that line was ripping out there though? Something had it. I was just letting out some more line. Let's go ahead and flip the bail over now. Let's go ahead and flip that one too. All right. Well, by gosh, we done got a hit. So anyway, like I said, 4 or 5 of you watch these videos all the time, and you saw me battle that big fish in the back of the creek. But here's the thing. You got 1 million shad right now, all stacked up in the back of that creek. And undoubtedly, there's a lot of catfish in there feeding on them things. But how do you make your bait stand out when there's millions of daggone shad literally everywhere for them fish to choose from? How do you get your bait noticed? That's hard to do. I mean, you really just got to put your bait right in their face in order to catch a fish. And so, you know, we busted that big fish on the last trip, but I didn't get much to go with it. 4 or 5 just really small cats to go with it. So I was like, why don't we come out here today? Let's try the main channel, try to get away from some of the bait, although we're still seeing some on the graph there, but there won't be as much bait out here. And hopefully the fish we do come across, while snagged up there, got that free, while there may not be as many catfish out here right now as what there may be kind of in the backwaters, the fish we do come across, we're not going to be competing with as much bait for their attention. And so I'm hoping that we can get on some. But the way this is, we're kind of, I'll show you on the graph best I can. So over here to the right is the main river channel right now. You can see where it comes off the land here, all them contour lines real close together. It's a steep drop. So right here where the land is, it comes off real steep and starts to level out here about 43 feet right where we're at. Now, as we make our way along up here, up the shore, this part is going to widen out, and then it's going to drop off to the main river channel up here. So we're kind of just at the bottom end of a deep flat that really kind of narrows down here, but it'll widen as we go up. And I just want to work that deeper flat off the main river channel. And like I said, about somewhere between half mile and a mile up through here on the left is a little bit larger creek system. And so once we get up here to it, we will cut in that creek, troll our way back, turn around, come back out it, and see how that goes. And if we've tore up the fish up and down through here, we'll keep doing what we're doing. If we're getting them in the creek, we'll keep working the creek. If we're not doing diddly poo in either spot, we'll keep making our way upriver. You know, we'll just keep moving till we find them. That's what we're doing today. So I'm gonna put y'all in the chest here. We're gonna leave the camera rolling. We got our baits out. Meanwhile, while we're going up this flat here, we've got that live shad here behind us, just freelining. So oftentimes you'll have fish, at least here during the winter months anyway, these catfish, if you get a school of shad, sometimes they'll be on top of the school. And I've seen that before when I had the live scope on this kayak. I've seen that. You'll also oftentimes too get drum that are higher up in the water column. You'll get stripers that are higher up there. Like these fish right here. You see them marks right there? We're 41 feet. Some of them marks right there around 20, 25 feet deep. So I don't know what those are. They could be anything. But the point is, we've got a live bait up there that's going to be higher up in the water column. So if we come across anything, there's an individual struggling shad away from a school, it's an easy meal for them. And with the water temperatures being colder right now, it's out here on the main channel, it's 47.7 degrees. My last video filmed 2 days ago, back of the creek, it was like 48 something. So a little warmer in the backwaters than out here, but there's obviously still life out here based on what we're seeing on the graph. And the cold water, like I was gonna say, it's easier to keep your live baits alive in cold water, especially if you're using a small non-aerated container like I have here in this 5-gallon bucket. And them shad, they're still doing okay in there. So we'll hopefully make use of all of them today. I didn't want to overcrowd it and put too many in there, because the more you put in there, the quicker they're going to die off. And I wasn't sure how many we were going to need. I mean, hell, that one behind us, we may not get it eat. I don't know. But these others here in the floor, you know, we're going to use them as cut bait. And I do hope we get something on the cut bait. That's what I think's our best chance here, dragging these pieces of shad up through here, going a half a mile an hour against a minimal flow. Very light current out here today, but we're going to work against it, going upriver here and just cover water, just try to get in front of some fish. You know, I think based on some of my recent trips where I've been suspending baits, anchor fishing. Comparing those trips recently to my last trip out where we were trolling and dragging baits, I think that's the play right now. I think we need to be actively moving. I think these fish are, I think we're going to have to really put our baits in front of a fish's face and get that attention, get a reaction strike as we're pulling it by. I think that's what it's going to take right now, because when I've been in the creek mouths and the back of some of these creeks, and I'm just throwing baits out or suspending down there in the creek mouth, and there's gazillions of shad there. Again, how do you make your bait stand out? And so I wasn't getting the results that I was wanting. I love fishing like that. I love dropping an anchor down and suspending baits right under the kayak. I love that. That's my favorite way to catch them. But if it ain't working, it ain't working. And lately, it just ain't been working. Not for me anyway, not from where I've been. So next best thing, start dragging. And like I said, last trip, I netted shad a few feet deep, started fishing there, worked our way out, all the way out of that creek to about 40 feet deep. And the big fish I got was, if memory serves me, like 25 feet, I believe it was, in that depth range. But as nice as that fish was, that was pretty much it. I mean, just some really small dinks other than that. And I want to see if we can, obviously want to catch big fish out here today, but I'd like to get a little bit more action too. I'd like to have a little bit more life, get some more bites, reel something else in. We're going to try today, folks. Y'all my fishing partners, so if we don't do any good, it ain't my fault. It's y'all's fault for bringing bad luck with you. I don't know why you don't bring you lucky rabbit's foot if I get my words out. Bring it on these trips so we can actually catch something. At least catching bait's been easy. I had skipjack, but when water temps are under 50, I just have a great deal of confidence in shad. It's about the one situation on the Tennessee River where I would rather have something other than skipjack. It's this time of year, when the water's cold. When the water's cold, gizzard shad just performs so much better. And they're a dime a dozen right now, man. It's literally 2 throws. We've got a whole floor full here. Plus, I dumped what I had in my cooler, and I put part of these shad there and packed them in ice. I'm going to hopefully fish tomorrow. Yesterday, we didn't end up getting a lot of rain yesterday, but the wind was really bad and knocked me out. Now, tomorrow's supposed to be a nice day, but I think the wind is going to be pretty high. So I'm either going to have to find a place out of it or just live to fight another day. Either way, I've got us plenty of bait if we are able to go. And these shad, I normally try to use shad pretty quick. 24 to 48 hours. It's about as long as I want to keep shad. But, as long as we're launching in a creek, pretty much all of them have some shad in them. Because the way I'm filming, I don't know when you're watching this, I'm filming it in February. We had a big polar vortex come through. Frigid cold here for like 2 weeks, really bottomed out the water temperatures. Then we've had this warming trend where we've had temperatures, today it's in the 50s and cloudy. It feels a little cool, but we've had temperatures in the 60s and, for a few days. And so it's warmed everything up. It's really heated up the backwaters. And it's got all that bait back there. It's just got it stacked up because that's the warmest water around. Y'all wave a bass boater over there. He ain't gonna catch nothing today. I saw what I think was a big bass blow up some shad back there where I was netting them. It was a big splash, and by the time I turned my head, it was gone. But it had to be either a big bass or a big striper of some kind. But yeah, as long as we're launching in a creek right now, I'm just going to keep taking my net, and we'll make a few throws and get us some fresh shad right there where we're at, and roll with that. Skipjack, I'm on some right now. They're easy to get again for the time being, but it's a confidence thing. And when we're out here right now, like the way we're set up today, we're dragging 2 baits. I only got 2 rods, so I want to make sure that I've at least got a confidence bait on one of them, preferably both of them. And we did try some skipjack on the last trip. I pulled a skipjack head for a little while and didn't even have a tap on it. So we're just going to roll with the gizzard shad. All of them are, 5 to 7, 8 inch range, which when these catfish, when they move back in these creeks, that's the size of the bait that's back there. That's what they're going to be eating on. So we're trying to give them what they're already eating. We're just trying to make it stand out, trying to get it noticed. But we've had such a fluctuation in water temperatures. I think that's kind of played havoc a little bit. It's been hard to pattern anything, at least for me anyway. I'd be the first to admit I am a terrible wintertime fisherman. I'm either on the fish or I ain't, and I'm just not very consistent. This is my most inconsistent time of the year. I'm pretty good about being able to find some fish. I'm going to have a bad day, spring, summer, and fall. Like I will have some bad days. I'll have some skunk days. But if I'm going to skunk, it's far more likely to happen in the winter than it is spring, summer, or fall. It's just, and I think maybe part of that is just because I think the blues are maybe more concentrated. Like they're maybe more stacked up a little bit in the winter. Whereas in the warmer months, warmer water, they're going to be spread out a little bit more. Maybe they're, in smaller schools versus in the winter, maybe being in a little bit bigger schools. So in the winter months, if you're on them, you could be catching a lot of fish. If you're not on them, well, there may just not be anything there. It may be the Dead Sea. But I'm inclined to believe, like right here, here's some more small marks there under us there we passed. So, there's some life up through here. As we're coming up through here, we're seeing enough to give me some hope. And there is some bait down there as well, which I thought there would be. I thought kind of out here off this, on this deeper flat, I thought there would be some bait fish schools kind of roaming around. Doing the style of fishing I'm doing here with 2 rods in a kayak, it's not really, I don't normally fish flats very often. Like you for the handful of you that watch all the time, how many videos have you seen me work the flats? It's very few. It's not a type of place that really suits my skill set. Because when fish are on the flats, they're going to be moving around, right? They're looking for schools of bait, and depending on how big or wide the flat is, you just may pull your baits right by them, or pull through an area, and the fish be 50 yards to your right or left or whatever, and just not be able to pick up on the scent. And the people who, what we got happening here? Something's happening on our right rod. Well, whatever it was thought better of it. Oh, now we got something after the little peck, peck, peck. Well, made you all fish. Don't be chewing up them baits now. Commit to it. Made you to be too legit to quit is what I need, fish. Don't quit on them baits. Go MC Hammer on it. Too legit to quit. But no, when you fish in these flats, I've told a million times I hate planer board fishing. It ain't my cup of tea. I just don't like it. I don't think it's very fun. But it is a very effective way to fish backwater creeks and flats. Those are the two places where that really shines. Now me, when I'm out on the main river and I'm having success dragging baits, it's when I can really focus in on a break line. When I can put my baits right on a break line, that's when I'm going to have success doing this. When we're up on a flat, you kind of got to get a little bit lucky, right? Like you got to just bring it by a fish. And I know if I'm able to work break lines out on the ledges and stuff, that's going to be where the fish are at. Like that's their highways. That's where they're going to be traveling through. Up on the flats and the backwater creeks, like they're just going to be, they could be spread out. They could be anywhere. But today I'm just very curious. And so we're going to try to kind of hang over here on the edge, like at least hit this break line where the land comes off and then kind of levels out to the flat. We're going to work it and just hope for the best with it. And I mean, clearly, again, we're seeing, look, why don't you look right here? Look right here. There's a school bait with a bunch of marks there under. Like that's something, folks. So that's what we need to come across today. We just need, we need it to be catfish under the schools of bait. Who knows what those are? I guess if we catch something here in a minute, we'll know for sure. But that's what we need as we work up and down through here today. Is that one of them fish that we just passed over? He wants it. Why don't you go ahead and get it, fish? He may have it. No. Let it go then for sure. The rod popped back up. Just the tease. We'll switch these baits out for sure every hour. Probably every time we reel in a fish, we're going to go ahead and switch it out because we got plenty. We've got a surplus. No reason to be conservative out here today. So I don't want to reel in baits just for the hell of it, but he's back after it again. Oh. Giving it the old tap. Every time I turn the camera away, every time I get back comfortable facing forward, he wants to hit it again. We'll get turned around here facing this rod, and then the other one will go down. They'll pull a sneak attack while our back's turned. He appears to be gone again. Yeah, I don't want to reel in baits all the time because with only having 2 dragging rods out, when you're reeling in to switch out your bait, that's time without baits in the water. So if we have a really hard takedown that don't hook up, we'll certainly reel in that situation just to make sure they didn't rip the bait off the hook. Because sometimes these shad will get ripped off a little easier since they're a softer bait. But otherwise, about every hour, we'll switch them out. And definitely every time that we reel in a fish, we will switch out for something fresh. And we could put one of the live ones on a dragging rig too. But I'd rather save those for our freeline rod, just in case we get on some fish up there, higher up in the water column. It'll make for a fun time if we get something on that lighter rod. I've been using that lighter rod as a suspending baits with it. But even in the creek the other day, we caught some fish on it, but just not getting the numbers that I'd hoped to get with the smaller setup. Because a lot of times, I know you've experienced this too. You go out and you're catfishing like normal, and you get some bites, you get some taps that don't hook up, right? And we've had a couple over here on this left dragging rod. And usually when that happens, it's smaller fish, little dinks that they're just too small to get the bait in their mouth or get the bait and the hook in their mouth, and they just sit there and nip and peck and chew up your baits. And my hope was with the smaller, lighter tackle rod, we'd go ahead and catch a bunch of those, kind of entertain ourselves while we're fishing with the bigger baits. But man, this past week, the last trip there we got 2 or 3 on that light tackle rod, but not a lot of action on it, and not a lot of action this past week, even when I've been like anchor fishing and suspend fishing and like anchoring with casted baits out. I've used the lighter tackle rod on those days too, and it just ain't happening. That's why I think we kind of need to be on the move. I think that's really right now. I think that's the play, just being on the move. The more we can move, the more we can cover water, the better likelihood we are to just run that bait right in front of one of them's face. Like old Pro Moderator, longtime viewers remember Pro Moderator. He used to moderate my live streams, but he bass fishes a lot, and he likes to make a lot of casts. He's a power fisherman. And his rationale is he's going to go out there and cast for 8 hours on tournament day, and he's going to hit 5 of them on the nose. If I make enough casts, I'm going to hit 5 of them in the head. And it's kind of the same way with doing this style of fishing for catfish. It's like if you put your baits in a productive area and just go, you do that long enough, you're going to hit 5 of them in the head. Like you're just gonna statistically, you're going to have to come across some fish. And that's what we're hoping for today. Looks like we're going to come across some bass fishermen up here too. There's a boat coming this way. Hopefully they fish about as long as every other bass fisherman and spend 5 minutes on that spot and motor on down, because the distance they're working off of that bank versus the distance we're working off this bank, we're on a head-on collision course right now. It's like a game of chicken on tractors from Footloose. You remember Kevin Bacon? His shoestring got hung on the gas pedal of the tractor, and he ended up winning the game of chicken because he couldn't jump off. I like Kevin Bacon. I've never met him in person, but he seems like a good actor, but I can't think of anything he's been in that I didn't care for Footloose. I know he was in Apollo 13. I didn't care for that either. Put me in the group of people that think that the moon landing was fake. It was staged. I'm not convinced that we've been to the moon. I think it was all a big hoax. I think if it was legit, we would have been back already. we would have a fortress built on the moon. I don't think it's legit. But Kevin Bacon was in that movie, Apollo 13. I can't think of what else he's been in right now off the top of my head, but in my mind, I like Kevin Bacon as an actor, but I can't think of anything good he's ever been in. No, I can't think of one single movie he's been in that I like. Nevertheless, I kind of like Kevin Bacon, though. Not that I personally know him. Here's one for you, though, while we're on the topic of Kevin Bacon. So, surely most of you all out there have heard of the thing called 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon. And the premise is, if you haven't heard of this, the premise is that you can connect any two people on Earth with 6 steps or less. Now, I don't know why it's called the 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon, but that's what it's called. But it's basically, if you're trying to link yourself with, pick any person in the world, Queen Elizabeth, I think she's dead, probably a bad example. Hell, who the hell's somebody famous that's alive right now? Matthew McConaughey. How do we, Queen Elizabeth to Matthew McConaughey? Well, we're down a rabbit hole. But anyway, let's say we're trying to connect you to Matthew McConaughey. You might have your neighbor's friend's mailman might live next door to Matthew McConaughey. And that's the whole 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon deal. Like, it's you connect any two people with 6 steps. You know somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody who knows the person that you're trying to connect with, right? So, after one of my saltwater videos come out, I went down there in Florida and I fished with Chase Masters, somebody I've become friends with down there. And he's a fishing guide down there, right? And so I met him at a gas station there in November when I went down, and he recognized me from YouTube, invited me out. I fished with him, had a good time. So when I went back in January, I called him up and booked a trip with him. And so after the video come out, a couple of y'all there in the audience had said nice things about him, so I took a picture or a screenshot there of the comments where y'all were saying nice things about him, and I texted it to him. And I just thanked him again, for taking me out. And he messages me back with a screenshot of a conversation with his brother. And his brother said, and he said this because in the video where I was fishing with Chase, somehow or another we got to talking about Peyton Manning. I'm a big, I'm from Tennessee. I'm a big Peyton Manning fan. I'm a fan of catching a fish too. We got one on. Buddy, that feels good. He ain't pulling drag, but he's pulling. Look at that, buddy. All right. He feels pretty solid right now. Like I said, he ain't stripping line or nothing, but we're getting fish number 1 here either way, folks. All right, hey. I'm all about catching a fish today. Maybe these bass fishermen were coming up here in front of us will see this so they can actually see a fish today. I guarantee you they ain't caught nothing. Yeah, we'll fight this thing here. Got him a gizzard shad with the tail cut off. This rod had been hit a couple times, so that tells me the bait's still on. We'll switch it out when we get him up here, though. I definitely want to, with it having been hit a couple times, and now this fish being caught on it, I definitely want to switch it out for a fresh one. Yeah, this fish is coming at us now. Getting close. He's coming this way. Nice of him to swim toward us here and help us out versus just laying there like a wet rag and making us drag him in. I think it's going to be an okay fish here, folks. I don't know how big it's going to be, but I think it's going to be a decent fish. He's right up here beside us. I still ain't got to look at him, though. We got to be getting close now. Got to be. Come on, fish. I want to get a look at you. Oh, I think it's going to be a good fish. He's rolling. It's a blue for sure. Which I figure that's probably about all we'll catch dragging today is blues. Wouldn't expect a flathead, although it's not impossible, but yeah, it's a good fish. Really good fish. Really good blue cat right there, folks. Really good blue cat. Really good fish, man. We're gonna take our time here. Yeah, we'll put up that front camera mount for this one right here, y'all. That's a nice fish, especially for fish number one. Y'all done good on that one. I'm proud of you. Y'all a hell of a fishing partner today. Woo, blue cat. Blue kitty ditty. I'll tell you what, let's do. Let's get our, while he tires himself out, let me set the front camera mount up here. Y'all wave at the yacht club over there, Goldie Hawn and Kurt Russell there, Overboard movie. Let me set y'all up here. Well, if I can. I can't get that damn screen on there. I don't know what y'all looking at. There it is. Must have been on a delay. Okay. I want to make sure that you can see what I'm seeing. I'm gonna bring this thing over here. We're gonna land him. And we're gonna hold him up for a picture right here. This one's picture worthy, folks. Okay. Okay. Y'all, this is nice. Okay. Okay, come on. I got this yacht club wake coming right here as I'm trying to land him. Oh, nice, y'all. Nice, folks. This is a good fish. This is solid fish right here. Let me hold him up. There we go, man. Look at the belly on that thing. You talk about a fish that's been eating good, y'all. That thing right there is a sow. All right, well, hey, we got out here on this deeper flat. We're working the edge right here. We come across one, and he gobbled it up. Yes, y'all. See you, buddy. Get on. There it goes. All right. We on the board. Let's dry our hands off here. We'll get another bait. Get this one going out. It's probably been, what are we at, about 45 minutes or so here. Let's go ahead, once we get this bait going back out, let's reel in our other one and go ahead and put a fresh bait on it too. It's probably fine, but you know what, we're switching this one out. Let's just go ahead and do it. Take another one of these shad. Find whatever y'all doing with the knife over there. There it is. Okay. Throw that out there. I'm just gonna flip that bail over and away it goes. Now let's reel this one in. Yeah, bait still looks okay, but let's go ahead and just switch it out anyway. If we didn't have so much bait, I'd be more conservative. Like I'd be more inclined to just leave it out there. I really don't like reeling in baits no more than you have to. Because I mean, if you got we got this bait up here right now. This could have been the time that we were gonna, let me just cut some slits in this thing too while I'm at it. But like this could have been the time that we were about to pull right in front of a big fish. And we might have missed our opportunity because our line was out of the water. But we'll have fresh bait out there nonetheless. I'm not going to reel in our other one that's alive back there because I don't want to fool with that. Ain't nothing messed with him, so he should be fine. Get that line going out. This one here should be about ready to flip over. This here on our left is a little pocket. We're not going to go in it. The next one up though, so yeah, the next one or the one after that's the bigger creek. That's the one we are going to go into, work our way into. I've actually got to work us a little bit over here to the left. We're veering off from where I want to be. I really want to be on the edge where this part comes off and kind of starts to level a little bit. I want to be on that edge. Anyway, back to the story that was so rudely interrupted by that big fish. 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon. So I messaged Chase and let him know that he had some nice comments said about him in the comment box. And he messaged me back a screenshot of a conversation with his brother who had heard me talking about Peyton Manning in the video. And he said, oh, I'm gonna butcher it. Let me pull up my phone. I want to make sure I get it right. Uno momento here, folks. Okay, his brother said, you got to tell that guy you take fishing that one of my closest friend's cousins is married to Peyton Manning. Ha ha, I may try to get him to send a video. Ha ha. How awesome would that be if he could somehow pull that off? His closest friends, so I know Chase, that's step one. His brother, step two. Closest friend, step three. Cousin, step four, is married to Peyton Manning, step 5. That's 5 steps that links me to Peyton Manning. 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon, folks. Let's flip that bail right there on that side over. All right, we're pulling again. We got both lines out and pulling. Yeah, 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon separating me from Peyton Manning. How awesome would that be? I mean, I don't expect Peyton to watch this crap that I put out. He's got better things to do with his time. I mean, he's a world famous, arguably the best quarterback of all time. And I mean, he's living his best life right now. He's retired. He's got his hat in a bunch of different rings. He's got a lot of projects going on. He ain't got time to be watching this crap. Like this fish here ain't got time to be nipping on that bait. He found time to nip on it, didn't he, though? Let's let it go now. But yeah, Peyton Manning ain't got time to be watching my videos, but how awesome would it be if, like, he was to send me something? Like an autographed picture or something like that. That would be pretty cool. Yeah, you just never know, folks. You never know who knows somebody. You're always just one handshake or one connection away from everything working out. Whether it's meeting somebody, meeting somebody famous that you maybe like their movies, or, an athlete that you like. Maybe you're one introduction away from meeting the love of your life. One connection away. Oh, something hit that left rod. You could be one connection away from a new job opportunity. Like, you just never know. You never know who you're going to meet and where and who they're going to know. I mean, hell, even like you take Chase there, the fishing guide in Florida. I met him in a random gas station outside the Everglades. I'm just going in there, minding my own business. Had to get gas, get some ice. I'm walking out the gas station and he stops me. I'm like, what are the odds of that? Just be in the random gas station in the Everglades at the same time. Because he's living in Islamorada. I mean, I was an hour and a half away from there. He was on his way back down, and I was on my way. I had been further down that day fishing and was heading back up more toward the mainland. And fate, man, just crossed paths. But yeah, his brother's closest friend's cousin married Peyton Manning. I know it's a long shot, folks, but again, 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon. You can link any two people. I don't even know what I'd say if I met Peyton Manning. I'd probably be like I was that time I met Pete Rose, where I just starstruck. Couldn't get my words out. Just sitting there like we're about to sit here and reel in a fish in a minute. Another one down there just tapping. We're 32 feet here where we're at right now, folks, too. In case y'all are wondering, 32 feet deep. Them old dinkity doodahs. It ain't this one. This one here ain't the one we're going to go in. I think it's the next one up. This one here don't go back in there very far. And with our water down right now for winter drawdown, like it's not going to be very far back up in there. I'm going to have to bust out my glasses. That sun's coming out and it's actually feeling pretty good. Today was going to be a smidge cooler in the 50s, but it felt a little cooler with the cloud cover and the light breeze blowing. That sun pops out, it's going to feel real good. I'm all about these warm temperatures in February, buddy. I may not be doing worth a crap on the fish, but I'm all about being on the water and being comfortable. I guess I'm just not as dedicated as I used to be. Used to, I'd get out and grind all winter long and suffer through the frigid cold temperatures. And nowadays, I'm kind of I'm a pansy. That's the only way there is to say it. I just don't like being cold, and I don't want to go out and fish in the cold. And I've learned how to play the YouTube game a little bit. Views fall off a cliff fall and winter. Now my fall was propped up pretty good because I was doing so well with these long videos, but once we got into January, it started to nosedive a little bit, and February's went off a damn cliff. And so between just the cold temperatures and the fact the videos don't do too good this time of year, I just ain't very motivated to go out when the weather's bad. Now, you get temperatures like we've had recently, I'm all about it because it's fun. But if I ain't having fun, there has to be some carrot on the stick dangling in front of me to get me to do something I don't want to do. It's hard to get me motivated this time of year because I know if I go out and freeze my hind end off, I may not catch nothing. And I know even if I do catch something, it ain't gonna get many views on video. So unless I'm going out and it's freezing miserable cold and I know there's a really good chance I'm gonna have a trophy class fish, that's about the only way I'm gonna get motivated to go. I'm pretty content at this stage of my life just sitting at home on the couch with my feet up on them cold, miserable days. I figure we're due for another drop in temperatures though. Next week's supposed to be a smidge cooler. It's gonna be in the 50s, but not cold. I'll still be out. But I got a feeling winter ain't over yet, folks. It's just too early in the year. I got a feeling we're gonna get blasted with some Arctic air again. I remember when I was a kid, and this would have been 93, because it's such a memorable year. So I would have been 11 years old. But March of 93, yeah, we had the blizzard. Most snow we ever had in Tennessee. Well, in my lifetime anyway. And that was in March. We had a tornado in February, and then a blizzard in March that year. Crazy, crazy weather. So I wouldn't be shocked at all if we got hit with another round of really cold winter weather. It'll probably stay warm long enough to trick the trees, and then it'll get cold and hurt everything. But winter ain't over yet, I guarantee it. I wish it was. I wish winter never come. I ain't a fan of winter. It was okay in school when I was a kid growing up. You get them snow days. It never snowed enough where I live to get very many of them, but it was always great when it did. But as an adult, I ain't got much use for the snow. It's pretty to look at on day one. Like when it's first coming down, it's real pretty. And just sit there and look out my window. Watch a bird feeder as the snow comes down, but once you've been stuck in the house for about a day, I'm over it. I'd like to just go to Florida for the whole winter. I'm thinking about doing that at sometime in the next few years. I'm thinking more and more about it. Either go to Florida permanent or at least go down there for about 6 months. Whenever I finish the leaves in my yard in the fall, take off. Oh, this fish is taking off. Oh, and he dropped it. That one pulled pretty hard. I wonder if he got our bait. We're gonna have to check that one in a minute. I'm gonna leave it out there in case he comes back for it. That one pulled enough though, I'm fearful he ripped the bait off. If it was something like skipjack or white bass or crappie, a tougher bait, I wouldn't worry about it. But these shad, they're liable to just either rip the whole thing off the hook or rip the body off, and you just have a head and a couple gill flaps there. All right, let's reel it in. Just check it and see. Better to be safe than sorry. When we only got 2 lines out, well, 2 on bottom, you know, we got 3 technically with the... Who's calling now? Is it another spammer? Oh, look at this, folks. That's another spammer calling me. Call them back for me, would you? Tell them, leave me the hell alone. That's like 4 spammers today. They're tearing me up, buddy. Like, I don't know why I'm getting so many spam calls all of a sudden. I'm on that do not call list, but all of a sudden, man, just getting a bunch of them calling me. I'm wondering if it ain't the Asian spa that sold my number. Me and my girlfriend, we got the toes done last night, and you have to put in your phone number there at the spa. Now, I guess after you've been there about 300 times, they'll give you $5 off your getting your toes done. We ain't been there 300 times yet, so we have to sign in with the phone number. We don't ever get nothing for it. Now, I wonder if they ain't sold my number or something. We're going to have to find a new place to go to anyway. I liked that place for a while because I had this older woman. She wore this goofy hat all the time. But I got her like 3 or 4 times in a row when we went in there. And like, she goes the extra mile on my feet, man. She's polishing my toenails there with a little, I don't know what you call it. It looks like a damn Dremel tool. She's shaving my corns down. Like, I mean, she's good. She ain't much to look at like the other hot ones in there, but she's good at what she does. Well, she ain't been there in a while. And I've been getting the hot ones when I've went in there, which they're great to look at. But they do a lousy job on your feet. And so I've been missing that old woman. I asked about her last night. There was a man in there. He did my girlfriend's feet last night. I had the hot girl, and she had the man. And he spoke a little bit of English. And I asked about her. And he said she back in Vietnam. And I don't know if that means she went back voluntarily or if she got deported. Who knows? But either way, she ain't working there no more. So we're gonna have to go somewhere else and try to find an old woman that knows how to do toes. Let's flip this bell over and maybe reel one in right here. Is this one gonna stay hooked up? I think he is. Yeah, this one's hooked up right here. I can feel him rolling already. I don't think this one's gonna measure up to the last one. But it's another fish, it's another bite. I'm gonna let out a little bit more line on that other rod while we reel this one in. Yeah, all right, folks, that's encouraging, man. That's 2 fish up through here. Where are we at on time? 2 fish, just over an hour. One of them being really good quality. So far, so good, folks. Y'all brought you good luck today. You got your good luck charms out. Rabbit's foot, 4-leaf clover. Maybe you're wearing your Kayak Catfish hat, I don't know. Guaranteed to catch you more fish. All right, this in here, just a smaller blue. I think he might be one that's a good candidate for our de-hooker tool. If I can find it. What'd y'all do with it? What'd y'all do with that thing? Well, there it is. It's on this side. Let's see if I can use this thing here. He's a little big for it, but we'll try it and see. All right, we got our de-hooker tool. I'm gonna pull down on the line, up on the hook, and we're gonna flip him over, and there he goes. Perfect. Easy peasy. That de-hooker tool, that's gonna come in handy, folks. That one there was a little big for it, but them smaller, oh. A tap right there. Yeah, it should be good. Let me just cut that tail off. It might be easier than, yeah, I'm gonna have to use the knife. That de-hooker tool though, on the smaller blues, especially them ones that won't open their mouth, that thing's gonna be, I just pulled that hook out. There. All right, back out it goes. That fish got me wet in the face though. Did he get you all wet too when I flung him off the hook? Let me see. Boy, he did. He got you all wet. Normally, I get splashed in the face. Y'all somehow avoid it. You didn't dodge it today, though, did you? That'll wake your ass up. Get splashed in the face with that 47-degree water. Yeah, this fish de-hooker tool, I talked about this in a couple videos. Chase down there in Florida showed me this on them hardhead catfish. It's just a piece of wire with a handle. It's curved down here on the bottom, but it makes it so much easier getting fish unhooked that won't open their mouth. Like a lot of them small blues, you know, they don't want to open up for you. Makes it super easy, as long as you use it right-handed. I tried using it left-handed, and I can't get them to pop. What was I talking about before all that happened, though? Oh, I was talking about Florida. Yeah, folks, I may end up, in the next few years, either moving down there permanent or going down there for part of the year. It'd be ideal. I wouldn't know that I'd want to live down there in the summer. But ideally, you'd just finish up the leaves in your yard in the fall, which is usually November, December, depending on the year. And then take off and go down to Florida till about mid to late March. And then you come back here and be home through spring to fall. That would be ideal. I may end up doing that, folks. We'll see what happens with this situation going on in front of my house. Let's flip this bell over here. I think it was last week. I can't remember if I've talked. I'm pretty sure I've told you all this, but it may have been told on a video that I scrapped. Anyway, my neighbor's house that lives in front of me, she sold it to one of them real estate firms back in the fall that buy your house pennies on the dollar, give you cash now. And so she took that money, got out. Well, they've been there fixing that place up. It took them about 3 months, but they finally got it finished and they listed it for sale. And the day it went online, The sale sign was in front of the house for a couple days before it got posted online. And I was looking for the online posting because I wanted to know what it was going to be priced at. Like, it's built the same year as my house. It's virtually the same size. Got less land than I have, but still, like, it was a nice comp. And I was curious because I may end up selling my place at some point. And so I was just curious to know. Well, folks, they had that place listed for $250,000, which, I mean, look, it's $250,000. Like, that ain't nothing to sneeze at. But in the housing market in my area, it's one of the cheapest places around in my area. And it's definitely the nicest house at that price range. Like, other houses in my general area are going between $300,000 and $400,000, comparable size. So this being so, I hate to use the word cheap when you're talking about $250,000, but cheaper, like, it had a lot of interest. So that listing went up. I forget what day of the week it was. It went up the next day, man, from like 8 o'clock in the morning all day long. It was just a revolving door of people coming in there and touring it. As soon as one group would leave, here would come the next. I mean, people were all over it. And I'm looking at these people. And of course, I'm totally judging all of them. I'm sitting there staring out my living room window, looking down there at that house, and I'm like, okay, that one there's got 4 kids. I don't want to live next to them. That one there, that guy's wearing a goofy ass hat. I know I ain't gonna like him. Like, I'm picking all these people apart as they're walking around touring this place, and I didn't see not one of them that I wanted to live next to. Well, that afternoon, my girlfriend gets home, and I was telling her about it, and she wanted to send the listing to one of her friends. And so I pulled it back up on my phone to send the link to her, and I'll be damned, that thing already said pending. It had been listed online for less than 24 hours, and it was already pending. So if you wanted to buy that house and be my neighbor, you're out of luck, folks. Somebody's already put in an offer on it. I'm curious to see what it goes for. I'm inclined to believe they priced it that price so that it would end up going for more than the listing price. Because I'd be shocked. If it goes for $250,000 or less, I would be absolutely stunned. Because nothing in my area has went that cheap. But when a house sells, it's public record, so I'll be able to find the final sales price. Like, it's all public record. It's free. You can look all that stuff up online. You can look up how much houses are sold for, property taxes. It's all public record. Used to, if you wanted to know that stuff, you'd have to go down to the courthouse and inquire there. But now it's all available online. And so I'm gonna keep an eye on it, and whenever the closing is done, we'll find out the final sales price. But I'm very, very, very concerned as to what is going to be moving in right in front of me. Depending on who moves in there, that may be the final straw in me moving. And I don't want to move. I like my house. I really like my house. I've been there. I bought the place in 2006. And I bought the lot. My house came with 1 acre. And I bought the lot kind of behind and beside me. It makes like an L shape kind of. I bought it in 2009 or 10, I guess. So, I've got a nice property. But my town has just gotten we're like the second fastest growing county in the state, and one of the fastest growing counties in the nation, because everybody's moving here. And that's great if you're looking to get the hell out, because your property's worth a whole lot more today than what it was 2 and 3 years ago. But it's really, the traffic in my area has gotten so bad. You just can't get anywhere in town anymore. It's got a big city feel, but yet we don't have anything. We don't have any nice restaurants. We don't have any good stores to go to. There's no movie theater, no bowling alley, nothing. Like, we have fast food restaurants, Walmarts, and Dollar General. That's it. Like, it's not fish. Oh, he dropped it. Just the tease. We've come across a few fish. If we had caught every fish that we've had bite, we'd be having a really productive day right now. We just ain't been getting the hookups. But yeah, where I live, it's got the traffic and problems of a big city. You can't get anywhere, a million red lights now, sirens all hours of the day. But yet, there's nothing to do. There's nowhere good to eat. No good stores to shop at. Got to go to Knoxville for all that. And so it just ain't as good a place to live anymore. And throw in the fact that the neighbor closest to me, I hate with a passion. I can't stand those people. Now they've subdivided their property, so I'm going to be getting another neighbor on that side. Then the house in front of me here, my next closest neighbor, I'm getting God knows what, going to move in there. My neighbor in the other corner, who I went 16 years without ever having spoken to, I'm interacting with him all the time, and he's okay, but still, it's something all the time anymore. I used to just be able to be left the hell alone for the first, well, up until 2020, when them people I hate moved in beside me. Yeah, I bought the house in 2006. I moved in like January 2007. From 2007 to 2020, that's what, 13 years? I had 13 years. I had my own little fortress of solitude, my own little piece of paradise. The neighbor girl that lived in front of me, she kept to herself, never had no problems. There was nobody there beside me on the left. Like, life was good. But since 2020, it's just gone down the crapper around there, and I don't like it as much. What used to be my fortress of solitude is now just I don't even know what you call it. It's still a nice house. It's still my home, but it ain't the same anymore. It's the best I can describe it. It ain't the same. And of course, with me, when I got the place, and my house was small, which was fine for just me when I got the place. It's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, but it's square footage wise, it's small. But now, my girlfriend's there living with me, and so the space you had basically got cut in half. And she basically needs one full room for herself with all her books and stuff, and her Peloton and her walking pad, which, why the hell, they call treadmills walking pads now? When I was a kid growing up, it was treadmill, but now they're called walking pad, and it's insulting if you say treadmill. But anyway, she's got one of them in there, so she needs one of the bedrooms for her, and I need one of the bedrooms for me, because, I got to have a place to do my computer stuff for this YouTube crap, and I got to have a place to store all my wrestling figures, because I'm still going through my midlife crisis. and buying those. And I work out in there too. I got my workout mat and all that. So I've got to have my own space. So we're running out of room in my house. And the walls are closing in on me, it feels like, because I've got neighbor to my left I hate, a new neighbor in front of me that's about to move in that I already know I'm going to hate, and my neighbor in the corner who's an okay guy, but he just randomly pops in. He's the pop-in guy. Just shows up. He messaged me the other day. He was calling me. I was on the other line. I couldn't click over. And I got off the phone, and I was going to call him back, but he had just sent me a text and said that he was down there at my gate, and it was locked. He couldn't get in. I locked that damn gate. And so he was trying to bring something over for Daphne the dog, and wanted to ask me. It's getting close to tax season. He's wanting to ask me some tax questions, which I'm definitely the wrong person to be asking about that, but nevertheless, he was just going to pop in, but he couldn't because my gate was locked. But I just, man, I like being left the hell alone. I like being by myself. And in fact, I need time by myself. Like, my girlfriend living there is fine because she works during the day and I have time alone. Like, I have my me time. But like, if I have to be around people too much, I get irritable. I get cranky. I'm just not good with it. I have to have some me time, some solitary time. I'm just too introverted. And I think that's kind of part of the reason why maybe where I'm living right now makes me feel trapped almost, because my neighbor on the left is close to me anyway. I mean, I put up that privacy fence, which is a big help, but still, they're close to me with the way our houses sit in relation to the property. Like, it's, well, in relation to the property boundary anyway. Like, we're close, too close. And that house in front of me, it's got, I mean, we're a little bit of distance between me and it, but the way it's positioned, like, I look out my living room window, I can see what's going on down there. And like, the girl that lived there before, she was a great neighbor to have because she trashed the place. Like, you know, their carport out there, which the people that remodeled that house, they did away with that carport. But like, the neighbor girl, she never went to the dump. She would just throw the trash out there under the carport. Years worth of trash. I mean, it was literally a dump. Trash everywhere. But otherwise, she didn't pester me. She wasn't having parties. She didn't have any kids. She didn't keep up the yard at all. So like, so she never mowed. It was just leaves. And so she never mowed, so therefore she didn't need to build a garage or a shed. You get somebody else in there that's going to actually keep up the yard, like, and want grass and stuff, well, they're going to have a lawnmower. They're going to need a place to put it. They're going to put up a shed. It's going to be an eyesore. If it's a man, he's probably going to have other vehicles, boats, four-wheelers, God knows what. It's all going to be sitting out there. So when I look out my window, I'm going to be looking at that crap. Because the way that property is, like, that house sits on 1 acre. But the way the property is, there's a steep drop in front of the house that equals part of that land. It's pretty well useless. Like, you can't really, there's nothing, you wouldn't build anything there. And so there's not much they can do with that. Behind the house is flat, but you got the power lines, big TVA 5-strand power lines. You can't build anything under that because of the setback. So the only place, like, if they had to put in a storage building or garage to be able to put their tools, lawnmower, etc. The only place they could really put it is going to be right in my line of sight, looking out my window. And then, God forbid, it's one of them people that toured the place, got a bunch of kids. They're going to be up there climbing on my fence probably. And I'm going to have a talk with them, whoever moves in, because when that other girl moved out, I ended up taking a couple of her cats. Here's a fish. That's a slow pull right there. That's a nice slow pull, and he is pulling. He's still pulling. He's just pulling with everything he's got. Let me pull on him a second. All right, folks. This in here might be another one here that's decent. He feels pretty solid. Oh, buddy. This was the right move coming out here, I think. We're definitely getting more action on our baits out here than my last trip in the backwater creek system. And I think it's just because out here, there's not as much bait, and so therefore our baits are more noticeable. We have less competition for these fish's attention. This one feels pretty good though, folks. I'm thinking this is gonna be a good fish. I don't know if he'll be as big as that first one, but he feels pretty good. I'm gonna let y'all land this one too. I ain't gonna fool with it. I expect you to get that glove on and handle him, hold him up for a picture and everything. I don't want to have to fool with it. I've done my part by getting the bait for you and baiting your hook and bringing you out here. The least you can do is land your own damn fish. This fish right here may not want you to land him. He may fight and thrash around and do everything he can to keep you from getting your hands on him. We ought to be getting close. Where you at, fish? Yeah, that's a good one. He just surfaced up here behind me. That's a good one. Yeah, nice fish. This one's not going to be as fat as the first one, but I think he's probably comparable length. He just ain't got the, this one ain't got the belly on him that the first one had. All right, folks. I'll tell you what let's do to be efficient. Let's stick him back in the rod holder there just a second. Let's go ahead and get our next bait ready to go. We'll bring him in the kayak. While y'all are unhooking him, I'll rebait the other line and get it going back out. That way we can try to be efficient. While you're getting your pictures with that fish, we'll already have the next line going back out. Me and you, buddy, teamwork makes the dream work. Get some slits in that thing. All right. All right. Let's, well, I guess I'm gonna have to land this fish my damn self. Y'all ain't gonna do it. I can't get y'all to do nothing around here. Y'all just sit back and let me do all the work. Y'all like them kids in school, let one person do all the work and you just show up and sign your name on the report. Okay. All right. Come here, fish. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. There we go. All right, y'all. There we go, man. Oh, this one here. Y'all, unfortunately, this one here is hooked kind of deep. I'm gonna cut it. I'm gonna cut that one because if I try unhooking him where it's at, we'll end up killing him. I don't want to risk it. This is a pretty good fish. I hate that he got hooked that deep. That usually doesn't happen with circle hooks, but sometimes it does. And it did here. Something's hitting that left rod right there too. Something's after that left rod. I don't know if you can see it with the camera angle or not. All right, he was a fun time. That's a quality fish. See you, buddy. I hope you make it. There he goes. I'll fist pump it even if he did get gut hooked. So much for us working efficiently there. We're gonna have to pull out another rig, which I've got some already pre-tied. I keep here in the kayak. That rod there, it was getting nipped. Whatever's nipping, it's gone now. I'll keep these rigs here in sandwich baggies. And that way, they're a tangled mess in here, but it's faster to pre-tie your rigs at home than to do it out on the water, because there's so many, especially these dragon rigs, there's just so many pieces and components and everything. And I put them in these sandwich baggies because, I mean, look, they store super compact, and it's just so much easier to be able to retie quickly on the water. I hate to have to retie on the water, but you know, it is what it is. Sometimes they just get gut hooked. They just take the whole bait, they take it in such a way that it happens. Circle hooks help prevent that. I'm a big believer in the circle hooks, but it's not 100%. And I don't care what kind of hook you use, it's never going to be 100%. Okay. I think we're back in the game here. Put our sinker back on. Got our bait here already cut and ready to go. Oh, it's a bird. I thought there was somebody over there to our left. Damn bird over there tricking me. There we go. All right, let's get our shad here. I wonder if it's about time. To switch out our other bait. It's been hit. I'm gonna take these glasses back off now too. It's clouded up again, and that sun popped out for a minute, and I needed them glasses, but now it's went back behind the clouds. So I'm gonna go ahead and just reel this in. We'll go ahead and switch it out while we're doing it. It's probably time. We got plenty of bait, so yeah, it's still on there. Don't look like it's too chewed up. Whatever hit it didn't really do much with it, but we'll do this. I'm gonna keep doing just like we've been doing. It's working. Just cut the tails off, cut a couple slits in it. That blood leaches out slowly, creating the scent trail. So if you bring it by directly in front of fish, they can nail it as it goes by. If they happen to be swimming along and pick up on the scent, they can come find it. You're creating a trail for them. Okay. Tail piece there, work that off. All right, y'all. We'll finish letting out some line on these rods and we're gonna be back in the game. Our live shad back there, let's check him. How long have we been at this? We've been at it an hour and a half. Let's make sure he's still alive. I was trying to see if I could feel him swimming. I don't. Let's go ahead and reel him in. Oh, he's still alive. All right. Oh, crap. Run that swivel through the rod tip again. Y'all do it every time. Every daggone time. There we go. I'm gonna flip that bail over on the right rod. Let out a little bit more on the left. I definitely want to put out a little bit more on this live bait, get it some distance behind us there. All right. I hope that bait goes down, man. I hope that live bait gets destroyed. It'd be nice if it was a big striper or something. I ain't caught an accidental striper in forever. Although I don't know if we're using live bait, I don't know if that would consider to be an accidental catch at this point, but I used to catch a bunch of them. Well, I said a bunch of them. I used to catch a handful of them every year while catfishing. Oh, by gosh, I just flipped that bail over and he's pulling drag. Oh, buddy. Oh, buddy. I just flipped the bail over. We just started pulling that bait and something nailed it. He took a little bit of line right off the bat. Now he's coming right at us. Productive day today, folks. Productive day. And not only are we getting some fish today, but the quality. I mean, 2 of them have been good quality fish. I'd always rather have quality over quantity when it comes to catfishing, but ideally you'd like to have both. Like to have several fish and like to have some big fish. I'll be getting close here. I can't tell yet by, when we're pulling forward like this, we're pulling the fish as we reel him in, so, because the kayak's still moving forward. So it can be hard to kind of gauge how big a fish is. This one ain't gonna be as big as the last one, I don't think, but no, he's not. It's still that's still a fun sizer. don't think he's really, I don't know if he's front camera worthy, although I might give him a little front camera time. He's in between. He's in between front camera. Here, let me sit y'all back up here, man. We'll give him, I'm feeling generous today, folks. I'm feeling generous about it. We'll give him a little front camera time. Come on here, fish. You need to take a bath, fish. You got mud all over you. Get the pliers on you. Oh, come on now. Give me that hook back. There we go. He's got mud on his side. He's got mud on the side facing me. He's got mud on his belly. Y'all looking over that way for some reason. Let me hold him over like that, I reckon. I can't even get y'all to fix the camera straight for me. Nice, you know. Hey, another fun sizer. Another quick bite. As soon as we flipped that bell over and started pulling that bait, that's when he hit. Let's do it again. Let's go ahead and stick another one on. We are 30 feet deep right now. Take that shad. Let's get that one actually. We'll just keep doing we're going to keep doing the same thing, folks. We're just going to cut the tail off and cut some slits just to get them bleeding. No sense in changing what's working. These shad are, I mean, I've had them laying out here on the kayak, obviously, for a couple hours now, hour and a half, 2 hours, however long it's been. But it's a cool day. It's a kind of a damp feeling out here too, like a damp air. So it's not like they're baking in the sun and drying out or whatever. They're still plenty fresh, is what I'm getting at. Yeah, we're 30 feet, 29.9 feet deep here. I'll show you here on the graph now. Now that we're up here farther on this flat, you can kind of see. So the contours to the left, that's the land coming off this way, okay? Then you can see the contours, they get a little wider here. It's a very gradual drop off more to our right, and then it drops off sharp into the river channel. And you can kind of see it on the graph, like you can see the contours widening here, and then they get real tight again, signifying the drop off to the river. It's barely off the screen to the right. And so I'm trying to just hug this line right through here, this break line where it starts to come off and then starts to flatten a little bit. We've just been hugging it, but it's either here or up around that next is where that, I think where that creek is that we want to go into at. I got to pull out my snot rag again, folks. Bear with me. This weather is playing havoc on my allergies. I've been taking my nasal spray every day, but this weather temperature changing like we have, and it plays havoc with me. Look at right there. There's a couple more marks right there on the bottom. Flip that bale over. Yeah, it's either up in here or the next one up. We're about to turn. Let me pull up my, yeah. It's this one right here. So we're gonna go up closer to that shoreline ahead of us up here, and then make our turn, kind of make a wider turn. We're actually going to maybe catch another fish here before we do it. He nipped it. This one here is just a little bit longer creek. than the other two pockets there that we passed. I've seen you see them white birds flying around out there? That tells me there's some bait right out here near the entrance of this thing. So there's probably more back in it. So we'll just take a lap, man. We'll just curve in there, go back until we get about a few feet deep, turn. We may have to reel it, depending on how tight it is back there, we may have to reel everything in, then turn and come back out. But that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna go in, we're gonna go back out, and you know, we've caught some fish coming up through here. But I think probably what we'll do when we come back out, I mean, if we're shellacking the fish in here, we'll just keep working this creek. But if we're not, if we're just kind of doing like we've been doing, one here, one there, we'll probably just turn and keep going up the ledge like we've been doing. This rod's getting messed with now. A little tap tap. I don't remember what we was talking about before them fish interrupted now. Oh, my neighbors. Yeah, so anyway, I'm getting new neighbors. And most likely I'm not going to like them because I don't really like anybody. And depending on how obnoxious they are, I may have to move. But either way, regardless of who it is that moves in, I'm going to have to go have a talk with them right away. Because that neighbor girl that lived there before had all them damn cats. And I ended up taking a couple of them in. And both of them cats have turned out to be really good cats. One of them's kind of a jerk, but he's a lovable jerk. And the other one's sweet as can be. And the orange one, we call him Marty, short for Martin Luther Kitty. He don't like really going outside anymore. Like, he'll go out on my back porch. If I'm out there grilling a steak or something, he'll come out. But he don't stay out there long. Like, he's ready to go back in. He don't really get off the porch. He had a hard life before I got him. Like, he's missing part of an ear. He was super skinny when I took him in. I mean, he looked pitiful. He's had a hard life. I think he's appreciative of living with me. So he don't really like going back out. But our other cat, the black one, the one that's kind of a jerk most of the time, he was very friendly when he was outside. Since we brought him in, he's kind of a jerk, but still a very lovable cat. He does like going out. And if the weather's nice, he'll go outside for a few hours and he'll go wander around and then he'll show back up out the door ready to come inside. And I've seen him go down to the neighbor girl's house, which I was a little worried about because the people down there that were working on that house, there were more cats that are not there anymore. I assume they got rid of them. But nevertheless, when the new people move in, I'm going to have a talk with them and be like, look, I got this cat. It's probably going to show up at your house. Don't do anything to it. Because if them people that move in, and maybe they're people that don't like cats and they do something to it, I'm going to be pissed. And it's going to be World War III right off the bat. And I'd like to try to get along with these people. I don't want to be friends with them. I don't want to have a situation where they're just dropping in at random like my other neighbor. I hope to never even really speak to them after I talk to them about the cat. But I am going to have a chat with them and just let them know that I have this cat and it may come down there. Because you can't keep a cat, I mean, unless you just keep it locked up in the house all the time. And I don't really want to do that because he likes going outside. I mean, most of the time he's on my porch or the patio and he'll just lay in the sun or lay in the chair. But he will wander off and go see the sights, do whatever he does. And I don't want to take that away from him. But also, too, I don't want him getting hurt either. And some people just don't like cats. I'm pretty sure the people that was fixing up that house, they either killed them other cats or took them off somewhere, because they're gone. And they didn't take them to the animal shelter, because I inquired. I don't know what I would have done with them cats, but I'd have probably went and got them. So, nevertheless, they're gone. But the worst case scenario would be somebody move in, they got 4 or 5 kids out there being loud and everything, and the cat would probably go down there and they'd be doing stuff with the cat and whatnot. Of course, I don't know, if they had a bunch of kids, maybe the cat wouldn't go down there, because he don't really like being messed with. That's why he's a perfect cat for my girlfriend, who don't like animals really. Not that she don't like animals, but she never really had animals growing up, because her sister had really bad allergies, and she's allergic to cats, but she gets a shot and medicine stuff, and so she's better with it. It's not like it's anaphylactic reaction or something, but nevertheless, the one we call Midnight, he likes to be in your presence, but he don't like to be messed with, and he's the perfect cat for her, because she's perfectly content with that cat laying down on her feet when she's on the couch, but she's not going to sit there and mess with it. Oh, big takedown, big takedown. Boy, he took it down hard. He took it down hard, but he don't feel that good. He don't feel very big. I think he must have hit that thing with a full head of steam. That was a nice takedown, but I don't think this fish is going to be very big. That one looked good, folks. That one got me excited right there, but I don't think he's going to be all that great. It's more action though. It's another bite. This has been a productive day thus far. Way up here, working this area. 2 dragon rods, 1 live bait off the back. Yeah, we haven't had to, well, I'm sure if we had planer boards out covering this whole damn flat, we'd probably caught more fish. But I mean, I feel like we're doing pretty good for the fish that we've got, the quality and numbers in the short time that we've been out here. I feel like we're doing pretty good here. This one here, I believe, is going to be a little bit too big for our de-hooker tool. Listen, fish, calm it down. I will let you go and you can have the bait and everything. Boy, I got to be careful with this. That hook is coming back out. Come in like this, fish. Okay. That hook is coming back out. I don't know if you can see there. Out the bottom lip. I can't get that hook out for nothing. Won't y'all unhook your fish? There we go. Here, fish, I'm going to do you a solid. Don't say I never give you nothing. Open up. Open up. You can have it. Hey, you don't want to open up. I'm trying to give you that fish. There you go. We gave you dinner. You go on with your day. He got a free meal out of us. Generous mood today, folks. I'm generous like that. I like feeding the sick and hungry animals. Get us another shad on. Onward we go. We're going to go up just a little bit further and then hang a left. Yeah, I mean, we would have probably have undoubtedly caught more fish running more rods and certainly spreading out more on this flat, but I mean, hell, we've done pretty damn good. I think we have anyway. I'm seeing a bunch of birds. Oh, back over here to the left, toward the back of this thing, there's a bunch of birds back there. If they're back there swooping down like that, that means there's a bunch of bait back there. We're getting all these fish out here on this flat. Most likely, where are they going to be moving up to feed? Back in there, right? So, I wouldn't be surprised if we get some fish up in there. I'm going to try to take us up just a little bit further before we turn. The way this creek is, you can kind of see there's a point that comes out here we're going over right now. Then the old channel, and it goes back up in there, kind of tightens down. Right there, my finger is, that'd be a good spot to anchor if we were going to anchor down. But we're not doing that today. We're trolling today. We're going to stay moving the whole time. Well, I mean, if we just got on a spot that was just stacked with fish, we'd sit there, but we're going to stay on the move for now. There's a ton of bird activity back there. I always look for birds in the winter. I mean, I look for them year round, but in the winter months, you get them white birds, and when you see them flying around and swooping down on the water, they're eating, and that'll tell you where shad are at. Some places, some creeks will have more bait than others, but those birds are always a good sign. Those, if you see herons lined up on the shoreline, that's a good indicator as well. Keep your eyes peeled for that stuff, man. Mother Nature will tell you oftentimes where the bait is at, and that'll give you a good idea of where the fish are at too. I mean, let's say we don't catch nothing in this creek, right? And we may not, because there's obviously a lot of bait back there, and we're going to have a hard time competing with that bait, right? We talked about that earlier. But just knowing where the bait is can be helpful, because fish that aren't actively back there feeding aren't going to be too far away from them. So then you start looking at things like the spot I pointed out here, right? Where this point comes off and that old creek channel is, where it kind of tightens down. You would look at that and say, okay, that's a good anchor spot. So fish working in and out of there, if you want to drop anchor and just sit there and wait, that would be a good place to do that. And you start looking at too, like, okay, fish that aren't in there, where are they going to go? Where are they going to hang out when they're not in there? Well, this deep flat out here that we've been working along, that's one good area. Or right off over here, off the main channel, you can see where that old, you may not be able to see, but the old creek bed, it flowed out, went down, and it went off right there. Anchoring down on that spot would be another good anchor spot. I would anchor, if I was going to anchor here, I would either anchor right there or right there. But any fish that are working up in there to feed, when they're not in there, they're either going to retreat back off this ledge here onto this deep flat, or they're going to go off the main channel ledge out into the riverbed. That's where they're going to go. So you can either set up an anchor spots and intercept them on the way in and out of there, or up and down the ledge, or you can do what we're doing and troll up through here, troll along this ledge, go in and out of this creek. It's your choice, pick your own adventure. Shout out Kyle Peterson. Best toy channel for midlife crisis guys like me. He does toy reviews and stuff and things like that. I watched some of his videos. He's pretty good. Is this line hung? There it comes. But yeah, if you're looking, I mean, part of being a good catfisherman and figuring out how you're going to catch catfish is figuring out how to read a map, right? I mean, you can be one, if you like fishing with planer boards, if you want to be one of those guys, well, you don't really have to think about it much. You can just, come out over here, put out your lines, cover 100, 150 yard swath of water, and just troll for several hours. You'll eventually stumble on some fish. But if you don't want to fool a planer board, you're somebody like me and you hate doing that, and you can't cover 100 yards swath of water at a time, well, then you got to figure out how fish move. You got to understand how they're going to swim, where they're going to go, where they're going to eat, where they're going to retreat to, and put yourself in between. And reading a map, it's important, man. It's one of them skills that's, I think every catfisherman really needs to learn. It ain't the most fun thing to watch videos on it and read books about it to learn how to do it. It ain't super exciting. Everybody's all about getting a new lure or a new gadget of some kind, the next latest and greatest thing. People spend a lot of time and energy researching rods and reels and lures and hooks and all that stuff, but none of that stuff matters if you don't know where to put your baits. And that's where people really need to spend their time and energy on, is figuring that stuff out. We got a little snag happening here. I'm gonna try to, all right, there we went. Got it free. That line there is coming over this point. And anytime you drag an uphill, I feel like you're more likely to get snagged. I got a new dragging setup we're going to be trying out soon. Maybe next video, possibly. It's supposed to be, it's in the mail. It's on the way. It was supposed to be delivered to my house today, but I had looked last night and it was still in Texas, so I don't think it's going to get here today. Maybe a couple more days before I get it, but probably be seeing that on video soon whenever I get that stuff. Now I think that ain't a snag right there, folks. That's a fish pecking at that. Hit it a couple times. Back after it again. You either eat it or leave it alone, fish. We ain't doing this pecking nonsense. Ain't got time. My patience is too thin for any nonsense. I'll tell you some more nonsense. I couldn't believe this, folks. So my girlfriend and I, for Christmas, we got new bowling balls. And pretty excited about it. Mine has a shark on the bowling ball. My girlfriend, she's a big Dodgers fan. Hers has the Dodgers logo. And we got these for Christmas, and we need them drilled. We need to have our hands, they need to be drilled for our hands. And I start calling around at the bowling alleys and stuff, who can do it? Well, the one in Knoxville don't do it no more. And the one over in Maryville, I called them up and they're like, yeah, we do it. And I'm like, well, great. Do I need to make an appointment? Do I just stop by? Like, what's the process on this? And the guy was like, well, let me see here when I can get you in for a fitting. It looks like April 7th is the next day we have available. I'm like, April 7th? It's February. Yeah, well, guy that does it, he's really far behind. He's like 70 balls behind. I'm like, are there 70 people in Tennessee that go bowling? Like April 7th, that's to get our hands, like them do the measurements or whatever. It was going to be after that when the ball would actually be drilled and given back to us. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. Is there anywhere else in the area that can do this? Oh, no, like you really want this guy. People come from all over to have him drill their balls. I'm like, I don't care if he's the best bowling ball driller ever. If he's not available, what good is he to us? You know, the old saying Colin Cowherd uses all the time, the best ability is availability. If you ain't available, you're no good on the field or in the game of life. So 70 balls behind, April 7th before you can even be fitted. I'm like, I'll find somebody else. So I called the Oak Ridge Bowling Alley, and they got a pro shop in there apparently. And so I got to go over there on Monday, and we got to be fitted and everything. So hopefully by the time you see this video, I'm hoping that I've already got my ball back and drilled. That way I can go throw the rock with my own ball. Because them bowling balls at the bowling alley, they're all drilled for right-handed people. And I'm left-handed. So I need a ball that's drilled for me. And when we go up to Knoxville at that bowling alley, I need a large. They got them like small, medium, large, extra large grips or whatever. Like I need a large. And they don't have that. I guess I don't know if they've been stolen or damaged or what, but they don't have that many balls left that's large finger hole size. Now I can't fit in the mediums. So me and my girlfriend, we got bowling balls for Christmas. And I'm like, I want to get this thing fitted in my hand. But mine's got a shark on it, y'all. Because you know I'm kind of into sharks. I've kind of really got into the shark fishing in the kayak, man. That's part of my want and desire, aside from just the fact Florida has better weather than us in the winter. The shark fishing down there, when I eventually get it dialed in, I'm not very good at it right now, as evidenced by the shark videos I've put out, but I will get better at it. And I feel like I was kind of picking up on some things there in the Everglades. And so I would like to spend some more time down there doing that. That's exciting, man. Don't get me wrong, like I love catfishing. I like the process of catfishing. I like the fact that we can put out these baits, just drag them behind us, or anchor down on a spot and drop our baits down and hook into big fish. Like I like the simplicity of catfishing. If catfish required me to be throwing big lures, casting all day, like artificial lure, like let's take muskie for instance, right? Muskie, big fish, great fish. I've caught one in my life, and it was awesome. And I got one of them after a live bluegill that I was reeling in on an ultralight rod, and that experience was pretty awesome too. But I couldn't fish for muskie. Like throwing them big lures all day long, hoping to get a follow, or if you're super lucky, get a bite. I just couldn't do it. Like I don't have the patience. I don't have the desire. I don't find it fun. When I've been muskie fishing, like I don't think it's fun. So that just doesn't suit me. Catfishing suits me. It suits my personality, what I like to do, and it's the biggest fish we have here in Tennessee where I live. It's catfish. Blues and flatheads and stripers are the 3 biggest fish we have in my general area. Muskie could probably be in there too, just from length. But weight-wise, blues, then flatheads, then stripers. But shark fishing is basically identical to catfishing, with the exception of obviously using a little bit heavier gear. But it's the same thing. You can go out and anchor down, cast your baits out, you control, pull your baits along, like whatever you like doing, it can be done. And you can catch sharks. And they are significantly bigger and way more powerful than the catfish. So it's kind of a way to do the type of fishing that I like doing, except with way bigger and stronger fish. We got a snag here. Let's see if we can work you through this snag. That one loaded up pretty good. We may have to go back for this one. Nope, I pulled it out. But yeah, I'm really into the shark fishing, y'all. And when I went to the Everglades, I wish I could have spent more time. When I go back down to Florida again, and it probably won't be until this fall, probably November-ish, when I go back. I'm in the process. I bought 2 weeks down there at the Topsider Resort. That's the resort I've stayed at in Islamorada the last few years. In the past few years, I've rented other people's timeshares because it's a timeshare resort. And I just rent their weeks. I'm in the Facebook group, and people rent their weeks on there, and I snatch them up. But Elias V Fishing YouTube channel, him and his wife have 3 weeks. I think 2 weeks. Maybe they've got 2 weeks and he rents another week. He's got 2 or 3 weeks down there, timeshare, at that resort. And so I've talked to him a lot, and of course I've talked to other people the last few years when I've been down there staying for the week about their experience having the timeshare and stuff, because I'm not big on the commitment of it. And you always hear the bad things about timeshare, especially the Wyndham, because they're just sleaziest salesmen ever. But this place isn't part of like a big chain. Like this resort is its own entity. And so the timeshares are through it. It's got its own board of other owners there who stay there, that determine the budget and where the money goes and all that. And so I haven't talked to anybody down there the last 3 years that has regretted getting it. Like everybody down there, it's people that have had that timeshare for 20, 30 years. They've been coming there their whole life. And I love the location. My girlfriend loves the location. It's paradise. And so the lady that I've rented from the last 2 years, Thanksgiving week, she has, we're about to get a couple taps right there. He didn't take it. But anyway, that lady I rented from the last 2 years, and I told her, because every time I get home, I always message her and say, hey, thanks again for renting me your week. If you decide to rent again next year, or if you ever decide to sell it, let me know. And then she ends up making a Facebook post about it. But anyhow, I saw it in time, and so I've been in the process of buying both of her weeks. And it's weeks 46 and 47, but depending on how the calendar falls, it'll be end of November when they fall. By having both of those weeks, we're guaranteed of having Thanksgiving week every year, which is important because my girlfriend's birthday is around that time frame. It's easy for her to get off work that week. Like, it just works out. But I've been in the process of that. Everything's at the lawyer's office right now, just waiting on the deed transfer to me. And that'll be ours going forward. So what I'm wanting to do is I obviously want to go down there every year to the Keys. But I'm thinking I'm going to rent one of my weeks out. Like, whatever week that my girlfriend can get off there, whichever week Thanksgiving falls on, we will use that week. The following week, or the previous week, depending on how it works out, I'll rent it out to somebody else. Hopefully turn a nice profit on it, because the yearly maintenance fees is $750 per week. You can't stay anywhere in the Keys for $750 for a week. I mean, hell, even that dump of a hotel that I was at the first week on the January trip, it was damn near $900. I think it's $860, I think, for 6 nights. So, well over $900 at a dumpster fire hotel for a week. So, and these are 2-bedroom, 2-bath, nice places. We got kitchen, living room, laundry. We got a fish here working this rod. You got a nice place on the beach. You got your own launch. Like, it's a nice place. So anyway, what I'm thinking I'm going to do, we'll use a week for me and her. I will rent the other week and take that money, hopefully nice profit from it. Should at least double the money every year. I don't think getting $1,500 for the week. I see other people renting their weeks out online. It varies. When I went down there in January, I paid $950 for the week. When I'd rented from this woman in November, I think I paid $1,000 or $1,200 for the week. I can't remember if I paid $1,000 or $1,200 for the week there in November when we had went. But either way, I'm going to take the week that I don't go, I'm going to rent it and probably still stay down there, but just go up toward the Everglades and take that money, the extra money anyway that I get from the profit of renting that week, and apply it toward a different hotel closer to the Everglades. I think he might be... Nope. He dropped it again. Dang fish. Don't tease me like that. Don't be messing up them baits. 27 feet. We're still... This creek's going to curve back to the left here. And we're going to go all the way back. He's on this rod now. That one's hooked up. No, he ain't no more. Let's see if he got our bait. We're getting dinked here, folks. Can't tell if he's got the bait or not. It's been... Oh! We grabbed our live bait line. Let's get this undone. Let's see what y'all have done here, getting this all messed up around here. We don't want to be... It would be a bad time for that live bait to finally get eaten today, wouldn't it? It would be terrible timing. Boy, how the hell did this happen? Okay, there it went. Let's throw that back there. Okay. All right, we got that going back off. Let's go ahead and just put another shad on. That way. Got it up here, we might as well switch it out. So yeah, y'all, anyway, that's my plan. Just waiting right now on the lawyer to do the deed transfer, which of course everybody's got to have their fees. The resort charges $75. Oh, y'all, our live bait got eat. Our live bait got it. He got eat. Here we go. Here we go with something. Here we go with something, y'all. This could be anything. It could be a cat, a drum. I don't think it's a striper. Stripers usually hit it and run full speed. Could be another bass of some kind. I hope them live baits get eat. I've been hoping it ever since we put that thing on. Uh-oh, we got a double here. We got a double about to happen. Y'all grab that rod there. Something's after it, grab it. One of y'all help me out, I swear, get that dang rod. Y'all ain't much of a fishing partner if you're gonna make me reel them in both. I wanna know what this is. Well, it's a good thing he waited until I got them lines undone to, to bite. It's gonna be a cat. Blue cat. Let's, here's what I wanna do. Let's set him back in the rod holder a second. Let's work on getting this line out. There we go. Let's get it. Let's let it out. Let's crank down on this fish, but I can't get y'all to reel in. Oh, he come free too. I think he just stole the bait. Dang it. Well, we'll go ahead and rebait this one. Yeah, he got our bait. Well, fiddlesticks. Nevertheless, we will grab another shad, get this line going out, and then we will land our fish here that ate the live bait, stick another live bait on. That was fun, man. That was exciting when I heard that drag going. That, folks, that's got my heart rate up a little bit. I just wasn't sure anything. When you got a live shad, when you've got a live shad being pulled along, especially now that we're like in this creek channel, anything's possible. I mean, anything. Could be cat, striper, largemouth, drum. I mean, literally anything will eat a live shad. They're the bottom of the food chain. But today, this time, it was a blue cat. Come here, kitty. This is 30-pound leader line, so I got to be a little bit more careful with it because he's liable to thrash and break this line if I ain't too careful here. Open up. Open up, fish. Quit being so daggone ornery. There. I never got my finger in his mouth. There we go. I'll hold him up here a second. He's a large dink, small, fun size. Not front camera worthy, but he liked him that shad, buddy. He liked it. Let's go ahead and flip that bail over there. I'm gonna stick another live bait on here, folks. We're gonna put another one on. I got one. This one right here is definitely still alive. And the other one down there at the bottom, I think one's still alive down there. The other one may be dead. I'm gonna go through the nostrils. That's how I had that other one rigged. There it is, folks. That's our live bait right there, live gizzard shad. Probably 5 inches, 6 inches. Give him a toss. Let's flip that bail over now. Veer the motor. We're out of the creek channel. We're up over here a little bit. All that chaos going on, I've got us off course a little bit. We'll get back over here and head back down this direction where we want to go. That was fun though, buddy. I heard this rod, I heard this drag pulling on the spinning reel. I immediately had a little adrenaline spike there, folks. The excitement of the unknown of what had that thing. I'm glad it waited though till we got the line untangled before it ate it. We'd have really had a mess. We'll let out just a little bit more line here as we move along. 20 feet. 20 feet deep here where we're at, but once we get back in the original creek channel, I think we'll be a little deeper. All right, that ought to be good. Loosen that drag back down a little bit. Hey, fun times there, folks. Could have used some help there. We had 2 fish biting. I blame you all for us losing that fish there on the dragon rod because it took me too long to get to. I couldn't get y'all to get off your hind end and help a boy out. Well, I took my sunglasses off. Now that sun's gonna peek back through. Let me get them back out. Time I get them put on, it'll probably be back under the clouds again. But yeah, anyway, just to close it out, I'm getting them 2 weeks in November. Just in the process now with the lawyer doing deed transfer. I got to pay all the fees. Got to pay the lawyer fee. You got to pay closing costs just like you would with a house. Ridiculous. And then the resort charges $75 per week for their paperwork. It's like everybody's got their hand in your pocket. But I'll be guaranteed for sure those 2 weeks now, every year. And that's nice. And it's nice getting it at a good price. Plus, too, I mean, if I just want to stay there for 2 weeks, we can do it, and we do it at a cheap price. At least relative to what we would be paying down there otherwise. But I think I want to use 1 week, rent the other week, hopefully for a nice profit, and then stay somewhere up on the mainland around Homestead or Florida City and just go to the Everglades, fish there for a week. I think that's what I'm going to end up doing. Those Everglades, man, it's a haul to get there, staying in Isla Mirada, where the resort is. It's 2 hours each way. So I'd like to stay somewhere closer. Of course, hell, where I put in at in the Everglades is 40 miles from the entrance of the park. So it's almost an hour once you enter Everglades National Park to get back to where I'm going to be fishing at. So I'd like to stay as close as I can to that park. But it's still going to be a good haul there every day. But I mean, I'd like to have a little bit more time there. If you're staying down in the Keys, I can justify going up there a day or two, even though it's a long drive. If the weather's good, I can justify going up there, but I'd rather just fish down there in the ocean while I'm in Islamorada and then dedicate some time to the Everglades. But shark fishing, man, it's catfishing with a little bit heavier gear. It's bigger fish. Sharks are obviously much faster, stronger. They don't tire out as quick, but it's the same. I mean, it's the same thing you do for catfish you can do for sharks. Just either use wire leaders, or this past time I went down there, I was using mono, 400-pound mono leaders, which is, you know, it's significantly heavier mono than my catfish. I use 80-pound on the catfish leaders. So it's significantly heavier than that, thicker mono. I only had one shark bite me off, and it had bit way up the line. I think it must have swallowed the bait kind of deep, and so its teeth was all up in the leader and got me. But of all the sharks I caught, I only had one bite through the mono. So granted, small sample size, but only losing one, and I got the fun of the fight before it wasn't like an instant bite off. Like, I fought the fish for a little while, and then it broke loose, so had the fun of that. So I'm gonna stick with the mono leaders. I've already bought some supplies to make some more before I go down. Whenever our weather turns here again and we have another cold snap or just a rainy, piss poor kind of day, I'm gonna go ahead and make up a bunch of them shark leaders, just put them in baggies, and like I do my dragon rigs here, and just have all that stuff ready to go. I've kind of gotten my gear and my tackle kind of, I won't say minimized, but I've got it. I figured out what I need and what I don't need over the course of the last few years. Like, the first time I went down to Florida, I took so much crap. Like, man, the vehicle was packed full. And the next year I took a little less. And this past year I took a little less. And so I'm finally getting everything kind of sorted out, kind of dialed in to like what I need to take and what I don't. Because I don't want to carry, I mean, the less I can pack, the better. And especially out there on the water, like the less gear I have out there on the water, the better. Because in my Hobie Lynx, there's no storage. Like, there's no internal hull storage. You can only take with you what you can have on top of the kayak. And, you know, with me hauling that thing in the back of the truck, the more gear I carry, the more trips I got to make to and from the water, and so I want to keep it to a minimum. Now, I do think next year, especially when fishing in the Everglades, I'm going to use the power pole on the Hobie Lynx as a way of anchoring me. That's going to be safer than using a physical anchor and a rope, and it'll make for an easier time with those sharks because if we get a shark up close, I can hit that button on the power pole and raise it up so it can't get wrapped up in the pole. Whereas with an anchor rope, you either got to pull in the rope while you're dealing with the fish or risk it getting in it, or you just unclip from it and go, but then you're going to have to go back to it, which the current out there, when it's ripping, man, it don't take long to get moved a long ways from where you started. Whereas with the power pole, I can raise it up quickly if need be, and then instantly put it back down and not have to fool with all the rope. So we'll definitely be using it on the next time. And there's so little boat traffic in the Everglades, at least the limited time I've been there, I've seen very few boats. I don't necessarily worry about the power pole. Like, I wouldn't want to use it out in the open ocean. Like if you get out there, let's say you're out on a flat in the ocean and you get some big party boat, cruise liner, whatever. Might get a fish right here maybe. Something was poking or nipping. But let's say you got your anchor down, power pole down there on a flat out in the ocean and some big cruise liner goes by, party boat, whatever, in the channel and sends all them waves across that flat. Well, you're still at risk of something bad happening with that power. That one's hooked up. That one's hooked up on that side. The other rod got nipped. This one, solid hookup. May or may not have been the same fish. Who knows? We're 17 feet deep right now. We're getting shallower and shallower. Oh my gosh, and he just come free. He must have just been clamped down on the bait. I'm not going to switch that bait. We just put that bait out there just a few minutes ago. I'm going to send it back out. He must have just had it at the end of the bait. Didn't get the hook. But I wouldn't want to be power poled down anywhere where I'm going to get hit with big boat wake. Because that's just, it's a recipe for disaster. But I think there in the Everglades, I think I'd be okay based on the boats that I've seen. And the boats that are in there in the Everglades, it's like bass boats or bay boats. It's not the big, you know, the big party boats and the big giant fishing boats and the commercial boats and all that. Like, it's not that kind of boat that's in there. A bass boat, those type of boat wakes aren't going to be a problem. It's the big commercial boats that puts off 2, 3, 4 foot waves. Those could be an issue if you're power poled down. But I think that's the way to go, and get back there, try to hit it on low tide where the water's down and all them fish are forced into the channel, and just get out there and take one rod with some live shrimp, catch your bait, stick another bait out there, float it out on a balloon, and you can sit there and be working the shrimp potentially, catching your bait while you're waiting on the shark to bite. Just get it out of the way real quick. So I think that's what I'm gonna do. But it's probably gonna be November before I get back down there again. Because, you know, we're February now. Next month, I've got to start getting ready for our catfish tournaments again. They start back in March in Alabama. So I'm going to have to go down and, oh, well, that's a fish. That's a fish right there, I think. He just backlashed my line a little bit. Something hit me and sent my line. Okay, let's see what happens here. Oh. Well, he's gone now. Something hit that line, though, because it made my spool jump and gave us a little backlash right there. We're going to go, we're 20 feet deep here now. We're going to go back here toward the back of this, folks. We're just going to keep pulling. I know there's bait back here because that's where all these birds are at. I don't see shad flipping on the surface, but I have no doubt they're back here based on the number of birds. We'll go back here. We'll go back as far as we can. We'll have to reel everything in before we turn around. Oh, that's a fish. Oh, he come free too. We must just be on some dinks back here. because they're hitting it, but they're tugging on the bait, but they ain't hooking up. I do, even dinks or not, I want to work all the way back. There's small fish in here, there could be big ones too. We'll go back as far as we can and then turn. We'll reel everything up. Once we get back here to the back, we'll have to reel everything up to turn, and we'll switch out our baits then and come back out. Now we'll just keep going. When we come out of this creek, we'll just turn and keep going the direction we were going before and discover some more water. I mean, we got 2 good fish coming up, but you know, those fish, I think, I would suspect we're going to continue to find those fish sporadically all the way up and down through there. I don't think it's a situation where we need to go and focus on just that specific area that we come through, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like we got a chance all the way up and down through there. They're just going to be roaming around on that flat, working in and out of these pockets and creeks and stuff. Yeah, I saw a shad flipping over there. The other big thing from Florida, I'll tell you all this. So the last trip, I told you about Elias running into that game warden who said they have a person watching him and other YouTubers looking for them to make mistakes, break laws and stuff, and give them tickets. Well, it got me thinking about something. You know what I haven't gotten from Florida? I haven't gotten a ticket or a bill for the tolls. Hold on, pause the story a second. Take a look at this. Right there was a big fish mark right there. Look at all that bait right there under us. That's shad from a few feet down to about 8 or 10 feet down right there. Big school of shad right there under us. I don't know if it's thread fins or gizzards. You obviously can't tell from that, but that's a big school. Big school of bait right there. That right there, what you're seeing on the screen, is why all these birds are around here. They're eating those shad. But anyway, back to the story. So in Florida, they have toll roads. And I took the toll roads down and the toll roads back. And did that also, and I did it not only on my January trip, but I did it in November as well. I never got a bill for the tolls. And it got me thinking, I bet you I'm not going to get a bill for the tolls. Because I bet you they couldn't see my license plate. When you drive through, like, you don't pay, it's not like a toll booth, like you stop and you pay a person. In Florida, like, there's cameras, and they zap your license plate tag as you drive on the roads and exit. And then they send you a bill in the mail. That's how it's been every other year I've been down there. 2 weeks, a month later after I get home, I get a bill in the mail for the toll charges. I didn't get one for either trip, November or January. And I got to think about it, and I'm like, you know what? Because this is the first year I had the Hobie Lynx, and I've hauled it in the back of my truck with the truck bed down, and so part of it hangs off the back. I bet you the angle of the cameras, I bet you they couldn't see my license plate to be able to zap me. So I bet you I got me some free tolls, y'all. I got me a free pass on the toll roads down through there. Which it's pretty ridiculous, honestly, that they're charging you tolls because, I mean, God almighty, the state of Florida gets enough money from people. Between all the tourists and the fishing license fees is ridiculous down there. That rod got tapped. Fishing license fees, tourists, I mean, their gas gets taxed like every other state, and yet they still want to charge you for tolls. I think it's ridiculous. In years past, when I've went down there, it's normally about $30 or so is my bill. Because I take the toll road going down and coming home. It's quicker. It's quicker by about an hour. It's not a huge time saving, but it is a time saving. When you're driving 14 hours, if you can save an hour, it's worthwhile. But yeah, I didn't get any bill. And I got to think about it. I was like, I bet you they can't see my license plate with the links in my truck bed. So keep that in mind, y'all. If you're traveling to Florida and you own the fence about taking a trailer or hauling your kayak in the back of your truck, I highly recommend hauling it in the back of your truck. Not only are you going to save on tolls, but look at this fish. Has he got it? Let's see if this one will stay hooked up. You think he will? Or are we going to fight him for a minute and then he's just going to let go? So far, so good. I'm optimistic we're going to keep this one hooked up the whole way. Had a few fish teasing us in this creek. I think this one here, I think we're at least going to see him. He ain't going to be worth seeing, but we're going to see him. This one here is going to be a candidate for our fish dehooker tool, I think. Definitely a candidate. All right. Yeah, this one here, small fish. Got a big portion of the hook hanging out of his mouth, so he is a prime candidate. So got the fish dehooker tool here. I'll grab that hook with it. So we've got the hook with the tool. I'm going to pull downward pressure on my line, and we're going to flip him toward you on the camera here and flip him around. And pops right off. Easy peasy. You might say, well, Justin, why don't you just lip that fish? Well, a lot of you out there have probably experienced them tiny blue cats to where they clamp their mouth shut. They don't want to open it half the time. Maybe you've got a wife or kid or something that don't want to handle the fish. Them tools right there make it easy on them small ones. If it's a big fish, well, I obviously want to get a picture with it. But if it's a small fish, like that one there, once we've reeled him in, hell, we've had our fun. So I ain't just dying to get my hands on it. If I can avoid it, use that dehooker tool, I'm gonna do it. Again, they're overpriced for what they are, but it is a helpful tool. Well, let's let out some line. 18 feet deep now. This creek still got some depth to it, as close as we are to the back of it. It's surprising. It must come up real fast back here. Did it get water all over the land? No, it didn't. Thought he might have flung water on you there when we looped him around. It's a peaceful day. I'm glad there ain't nobody back here. I was hoping there wouldn't be. You never know with the bass fishermen and stuff. They might be back up in here and whatnot. But we really ain't seen many boats out today. It's been a good day. Between the weather being cooperative and the lack of boat traffic, fish have been cooperative, bait was super easy to get. It's been a good day. That one's better. Nope. He dropped. Is this another spammer? My gosh, y'all, it's another damn spammer. They just will not leave me alone today. It had to, we went and got our toes done last night. I put my phone number in on the Asian spa thing there. That had to be it. And it don't do you no good to block them numbers because they call from a different one every time. I'm on the do not call list, but it don't do a bit of good. Like, I still get a bunch of spam calls every single day. I don't know, it's a problem. I don't know what they're gonna do about it. They need to do something. I wish there was a way that you could go in on your phone, and maybe a way does exist somehow. Well, that wouldn't work. I was going to say, I wish there was a way. Stay hooked up. Prove you're going to stay hooked up before I grab the rod this time. He's teased me so many times. I'll be damned, he come undone. I finally grabbed the rod and he's come undone. Let's throw it back out here. I'm not going to switch that bait right now because we're about to turn, and I'll switch it when we do. We're just gonna, I guess we'll run back here this direction. There's a point right here. It looks like it comes out. We'll just go right back up in here. But we probably ain't got 100 yards more to go. I think what I'll do, well, there's definitely fish in here, man. I just think they're small. We're just getting dinked up in here. What I'm gonna do when we turn, we are gonna drag out of here, but we're gonna go faster. Now I know water temps, it's 48 degrees back in here, so a little warmer back in here than out on the main channel. Probably be even warmer as we get farther back here in the shallows. But we're gonna go faster. We're gonna try to either make these fish just annihilate the bait as we go by because it's moving so fast, or we're gonna just get on out of this creek a little quicker and get back to. Is he gonna stay hooked up? No, he's not. I mean, there's definitely fish back here, man. They're here. I just think they're small. If we were using smaller hooks, smaller baits, we'd probably be hooking up with them. It's just, you get a small fish, they get part of your bait, and even us cutting the tails off on these shad, well, that one there might be a little better. And he come free too. You know, these baits 5-6 inches long, you cut the tail off, there's still a few inches there. So if, imagine this, my thumb is the hook and you got the bait out here. If that fish comes up, a smaller fish, and grabs here and pulling, like this one, yep, gone again. That's what they're doing, they're short striking. They're grabbing the bait and they're not getting the hook. What we're going to do, we're going to definitely go faster. We'll bump our speed up to say 0.8, 1 mile an hour. It may keep us from getting bit at all, or maybe it will get these fish to hit the bait a different way. Or, I mean, if they're back, I mean, they're clearly active back here. Because, I mean, we've been hit several times now in this little stretch, so they're active. Maybe moving the bait quicker will still get us bit. I don't like going fast in the cold, The colder the water, the slower I want to go. But that rule is not set in stone. That's not to say, I mean, if fish are super active and they're up feeding. I mean, hell, that one fish come up on the live bait there, higher in the water column, and got him. So, we were getting hit on that one again. I ain't picking up on it. If y'all want to do it, they've tricked me multiple times. If y'all want to try it, go ahead. I'm going to do it. I'm going to fall for his games. Well, go. Yeah, we'll see what happens. I mean, getting bit is nice, but if we can't get them to hook up or keep them hooked up, then I'd just assume get back out there on the main channel where we were getting better quality fish and didn't have any issues hooking up out there. If we bring these baits by a fish that's big enough to eat the whole thing, it's not going to be a problem. I just think these are dinks. But this is a situation that if we felt so inclined, you could probably pull your kayak up right on the bank over here and cast baits out and catch you plenty of fish. Maybe a bunch of small fish. You'd probably want to use smaller hooks or smaller baits, but still, if a person wanted to bank fish, this is the time of year to do it because the water's down and you can access shoreline that you don't normally have access to. Is he going to? I'm not grabbing it, folks. I'm not going to do it. We've got fish working both sides over here. And I don't trust either one of them to stay hooked up. Nope, neither one of them did. But yeah, this time of year, they drop our water level. Well, they drop it in November, and it stays down until about May. But you can access pretty much anywhere you want on the shoreline. And it's areas like, you just take over here to our left, there's a nice big area there that you could walk on the shore, cast baits out, whatnot. If the water's up, normal pool, it goes all the way up there under the trees. And so you don't have that shoreline access in the spring and summer months because it's all grown up over there. But this time of year, I ain't done no bank fishing in a while. I just ain't been, well, honestly, ain't been in the mood for it, really. I've been just mostly either fishing, mostly been fishing in my Lynx, my Hobie Lynx. I love that kayak. I'm having a hard time catfishing out of it. I just can't do what I like to do in it. So I'm having trouble with that. But shark fishing, love it. Ultralight fishing in it, love it. It's making bait runs in it, it's great. Like, it's such a fun platform to fish out of. This kayak is fun too, but it's so big and so stable, it takes away some of the kayak fishing experience. Like the Lynx is very lightweight, not quite as stable as this. Definitely doesn't have the weight capacity that this one has. And it's just a more fun, it's a more fun kayak fishing experience. This is still fun too, but I'm one of them weirdos. Like, I like fishing out of a kayak. This isn't a lot of guys buy a kayak and they view it as a poor man's boat, like they're just trying to make it a boat. I don't really want, that's not what I want out of a kayak. I want the kayak fishing experience. So I like the Lynx a lot. It's my favorite kayak that I've ever had. Definitely got questions about long-term durability of it with the hull design. But I really enjoy it. And so I've been playing in it lately. And I just ain't been in the mood to bank fish, honestly. I ain't took a notion to do it. I may end up doing it though at some point. We got plenty of time. Like I said, the water, usually it's about May, early May, mid-May that they bring the water up. So we got plenty of time left with the water being down. Unless we just get a lot of rain. If we have a big weather system come through, dump a bunch of rain, that can fluctuate the water level a little bit. But for the most part, they keep it down, I don't know, 8 or 10 feet off summer pool in the winter months. But it is nice. I mean, if you're somebody that fishes off the bank, now that one might be a better hookup, folks. Well, I say that, and he's done gone. He was pulling on it awful hard. I want to go up here just a little bit further. We're 10 feet deep now. I want to pull up here a little bit further shallow just to see what's going on. Y'all just humor me. This whole creek may end up being a waste of time, but we're not going to know until we get up in here. And that's another one pulling, but I don't trust it to stay hooked up. He still got it. I'm going to chance it. If he does stay hooked up, this is going to be another one we're going to use the fancy de-hooker tool on. I think he's still hooked up. So far, so good. Yeah, another small though, real small. Oh no, he got in our other line. You danged old fish, what'd you do that for? Let's try getting him out of the other line first. How did you do that? It's all right, we're gonna reel in that other line in a minute anyway, because we're almost back here as far as I want to go, so. Let's just get rid of him real fast. There he goes. Nice. Here's what we're gonna do. So we're 9 feet deep. I'm gonna go ahead, get this bait ready, but I'm not gonna put it out until we turn, because we're almost back here to the land. I'm gonna let me go ahead and get another shad too while I'm at it. That way we can switch the other rod out. We're definitely gonna need to switch it out. Hell, look at that one. That one there's still alive, folks. Let's throw him in our bucket there. He's had his head down there in that water by my pedal drive slot, and he's still kicking. Damn near, what, 3 hours in, he's still alive. Okay, that way we got that one ready to go. Yeah, we're 8 feet deep now. You can see how close we are to the land back here. I think we ought to just go ahead and turn, because we've been, oh man, that fish has got me caught on, what am I caught on over here? Hang on, we caught on something. We're caught on my reel handle. Y'all, we got a fish on. Something's pulling on that dang line. Something's pulling on my line. I had my line hung on my reel handle of the other reel, and it started pulling as I'm getting it undone. Good timing, fish. I was just going to reel this in and turn. We're 8 feet deep here, so don't have much farther back that we can run back here, and so I was just going to turn and take us back out of this creek, but this fish here said not so fast. I think he's going to be a little bit bigger than the last one too. I don't know how big yet, but I bet you if we come back here with as many fish as we've had hit us coming in through here, we ain't had many hookups, but we've had a lot of fish hit in this creek. I bet you we pulled up on the bank over here and cast out, we'd catch 30 fish today. That was my phone. Y'all just checked your phones. You heard my phone ding. Y'all just checked yours thinking it was you. At least that one wasn't a spammer right there. Yeah, this fish here, he's going to be bigger than the last one for sure. I don't know how big he is, but going to be definitely an upgrade over what we've been getting in this creek. There's got to be some bigger fish in here. I think we just been getting dinked. Yeah, we'll call him a fun size. Fun sizer right there. Good timing on hitting that bait, fish. Good timing. All right, let's see what we can do with you. Oh. Okay. Let me have it hook. There you go. Yeah, let's set him up here. Y'all, this fish said he wants some front camera time. I don't know if he's worth it or not, but we'll hold him up there. Biggest thing we've got out of this creek so far, the better quality fish have certainly been out there on the channel before we got into this creek, but hey, it's a fun time, man. It was a nice timing on that fish. So let's do this. Let's go ahead and turn. And you can see where we're at here. We're 6 feet deep. Let's just go ahead and get turned. I'm gonna reel in our live bait here too while we turn, and then we'll throw him back out behind us as well. And when we come out of this creek, we're gonna move a little faster. I definitely wanna pick up the pace a little bit, try to get through these small fish. One thing I might do, this might be an opportunity for tomorrow, potentially. If the wind is up, it might be a good day to hit the bank. Go bank fishing or something. Come back in here and just have a good time catching a bunch of fish. All right, here goes our live bait back out. We'll advance our speed. We just get a little distance here between me and the live bait. We've already got this bait out there. Let's just go ahead and start letting that line on it as well. And then we'll switch out our other bait over here and send it out too. I'm gonna go ahead and, since we got that other fish on this one and got the other fish on it and it'd been hit multiple times, it definitely needs to be switched out. Yeah, that might be a good idea for tomorrow if the wind is up. Run back here in this creek. Even back here, I mean, the wind, we should be fairly shielded from the wind back up in here. And I bet you if I pulled the kayak up on the bank and just cast out, I bet you we'd catch some stuff. I mean, we'd be competing with a lot of shad back here. But we've had so many fish hit us in this creek, like I think we'd do okay. I may entertain that idea. I haven't really been in the mood for bank fishing lately, but I may have talked myself into it today. Right now, I've got us going 0.9 miles an hour. So we're going to keep this speed all the way out. We'll flip that bail over and that bail over, and we're fishing, folks. But I'm gonna keep this speed all the way out of this creek, and that's either going to help us catch fish or it's going to just get us out back on the main river channel a little quicker. Now, once we get out there, we'll slow back down. But right now, I want to work out of this. I'm very curious right now if advancing our speed is going to keep us from getting hit at all, or if it's going to help our hookups. Because you know damn good and well, as many fish as hit us coming down through here, as we come back out, we're going to be pulling by some fish again. But will they be deterred because we're moving so fast? Will they just destroy the bait because it's going by so quick? I don't know. We're going to find out. It'll probably take us, I don't know, 10 minutes, 15 minutes to get back out of this creek going at this speed. So within 15 minutes, by gosh, we're going to have an answer. Yeah, I may just bring a lawn chair and pull the kayak up on the bank. And windy day or not, it don't matter if you're sitting on the bank. I actually think I hear frogs over there, y'all. You hear that? You probably can't hear it on the microphone. It sounds like the frogs are doing their thing. You usually hear them in the spring when you start getting some warm days in the spring, but February's early for them. I guess as soon as it warms up enough for them, they come on out. I like the temperature about. I really like water temperatures to be 60 or above. That's when you get on into spring and the water temperatures start climbing, they get up there above 55, definitely above 60. And it seems like the bite really gets going good. For not only blues, but for flatheads too. Now, I wouldn't expect today, with it being winter, water temps in the 40s, and us dragging baits, I wouldn't expect us to catch flatheads today. Now, if we were suspend fishing or anchor fishing with baits cast out, setting on bottom, maybe. I don't catch as many flatheads in the winter, but I do still catch some in the winter. But being that we are dragging baits today, I don't catch a lot of flatheads dragging. I've probably caught less than 10 flatheads total in all the times that I've dragged baits. For whatever reason, I just don't. They either don't hit it or they don't hook up. I don't know. come up with several theories on this, but either way, I don't get a lot of flatheads dragging. So the fact that we're dragging and it's wintertime where I don't get as many flatheads anyway, I'm not expecting flatheads today. I would expect it to be all blues. Plus maybe a bonus fish of some kind, bass, striper, whatever, on the live bait potentially, if we just happen to pull it in front of one. But once you get on into warmer water temperatures, the flatheads really start turning on. All the fish in general will start turning on. It just gets better. And that can vary here, depending on the weather and water conditions. We might be mid-50s in March. It might be all the way into April before we hit those temperatures. It just, you never know. Year by year, our weather is so different here, year to year. Like I said earlier today, I remember as a kid in 1993, we had that tornado that come through at the end of February. And that was weird when that happened because it was like 70 degrees, like we had warm temperatures and had all these storms, and the tornado hit. And then, it's like, I don't know, with a week later, 2 weeks later, we had the damn blizzard. The bottom had fallen out of the temperatures and we had that blizzard. And that's how it goes with us. Tennessee just has weird weather like that. I'm sure it's like that in a lot of places. Well, probably where you live too. They say around here, if you don't like the weather, wait a minute and it'll change. That's kind of the truth. It's just, it varies year to year, and sometimes we'll have a really warm March, sometimes a really cold March. Well, hell, just look at this month of February here. I mean, already we've got warm temperatures right now, but hell, 2 weeks ago, it was polar vortex here. So you just never know. But whenever it happens, whenever we do hit that point, is that a snag? I think that's a snag right there. There we go, we out of it. Whenever you do hit that magical 60-degree mark on the water temperatures, like it's time to fish. I'm definitely gonna make a trip down to Alabama at some point here. Well, within the next month. Our tournament is March 20th or 22nd, whatever the Saturday is, around March 20-something there. That's our tournament day. I'm going to go down once or twice, probably, and poke around a little bit. Our tournament's on Wheeler Lake or Wheeler Reservoir of the Tennessee River. I think it's the Fort Loudon, Watts Bar, Chickamauga, Nickajack, Gunnersville, Wheeler. So it's the 6th reservoir of the Tennessee River. A lot of big fish down there in Wheeler. But I've not fished there very much. I've fished there 4 or 5 times total, I guess, in my life. So I don't have a lot of experience, and I don't have any experience fishing there in March. So I don't really know what to expect tournament-wise. I'm going to go down early, because, you know, the other thing too, not just not having been there before, but their climate's a little bit different in Alabama than here. Like, it warms up a little quicker there than it does here, and it don't usually get as cold there in the winter as it does here. So their water temperatures, they don't drop as much in the winter anyway, and then they warm up quicker. And so I don't have a clue what the water temperatures are going to be, where the fish are going to be. I'm going to have to get down there and poke around a little bit, get myself ready for that first tournament of the year. Oh, faster speed. We got a little tap right there. We definitely seen, that was the first bite since we turned. We definitely seem to be deterring the bites going at the faster speed. I wanted to know. I wanted to go quicker. I mean, I obviously, I want to catch some fish. And if we could get these smaller fish to hook up, I'd certainly reel them in. But we missed so many fish. From the time we entered this creek to the time we turned, I mean, we missed a bunch of fish. I want to see how they're going to react with the faster speed. The sun's behind the clouds again. I think I can lose the sunglasses one more time. We ain't got too much longer of daylight left, I don't reckon. Well, it's 4:30. I guess it gets dark a little after 6 though. Thankfully now we're at that point of the year where every day we add a minute of daylight. And then we'll spring, well, when we spring forward, I guess March. Sometime in March that happens. I'm looking for, I would rather it be, I mean, you've got the same amount of daylight regardless of what the clock says. Is that fish on? Is that fish on there and just swimming with us? No. I mean, but like I said, it's the same amount of daylight. The daylight don't change just because the clock does. But personally, I would rather be an hour forward. I would rather be sprung forward all the time. That way, the bulk of the daylight is in the evening hours on the clock, if that makes sense. I would rather it be dark later in the mornings and daylight later in the afternoons. Personal preference. Nobody's asked my opinion on it. What I'd really like for them to do, above all else, is just leave the damn clocks alone. Pick a time and go with it. I don't like falling back, and I don't like springing forward. I just want it to be. Now, I'm fortunate in that doing what I do, I don't really have to adhere to a certain schedule, so I can just more easily adapt than people that have normal jobs. Oh, that one's hooked up. 0.9 miles an hour. Oh, he let go. Another dink. Another dink messing with us. There's all that bait though. Look at all that right there. There's a couple marks under it. Big school of shad right there. We're 20 feet deep now. Lots and lots of bait in this creek. If I was to come in here and do a bank fishing trip, I would probably have to downsize these baits. Just to make sure, because, I mean, we're going to have the same problem, them fish just picking up and running and not hooking up if we're casting out. We'll take a look when I get back out here toward the entrance of this creek and see what the shoreline looks like out here. Maybe we set up, and of course, if the wind is really cranking, I don't know. If the wind's really cranking, it'd be exposed out here, being toward the main channel. We could probably hide from it back in here. Let me just pull up here. I got my phone out. Let me just pull up Wind Finder and see what it's looking like for tomorrow. Yeah, after tomorrow, The morning's looking okay. After 1 o'clock, 15 to 30, 16 to 36. That's, I mean, look at those temperatures though. My God, 70 degrees we're going to have tomorrow. But 30-mile-an-hour gusts, that's a lot for being out on open water in a kayak. That's, depending on the direction it's going, you get out there in the main channel and it's blowing. If it's blowing like a big, you know, big wide open straight section there, you can have some big waves at 30-mile-an-hour winds. Just a little unsafe for the kayak, but for bank fishing, again, it don't really matter. So we could pull up on the bank. We'll see. I may end up doing something else though tomorrow. I mean, it is 70-degree day in February. It's a good day to do something outside. I may end up doing something else. I'm definitely encouraged though today to come out here and get the number of fish that we've got, plus the quality that we've gotten, because I really thought with as much bait as congregated in these creeks that there was going to be a lot of fish in the creeks. And when we went out there a couple days ago, that last video that you saw, yeah, we busted that big fish, but we just didn't get the action that I thought we would get. And so I'm like, well, am I just wrong? Was there not a lot of fish in there? Was it what I was doing, technique? I mean, I'd been trying to suspend and I'd been anchor fishing prior to that, not really done any good. I'm like, well, I think we need a moving bait. But coming out here today and working that flat with the mindset of putting our baits in front of fish without having to compete with the bulk of the bait that's up in these creeks, I really think it panned out. I think it panned out for some better quality fish. Now, clearly there are a bunch of catfish in here, in these creeks, but since we entered this creek, we've really not got anything close to the quality that we got out there. And another one getting hit. I probably need to see where my battery's at too. I made a pretty long run to get out here. I'm still at 60%. So the last video that you've seen there, I had to prostitute myself and hog them batteries. And I got that battery there. He's staying after that thing. Just make sure he ain't got it. I think he does have it actually. I think he's just swimming along with us here. Yeah, that one there, he's got himself hooked up, folks. We busted this one, 0.9 miles an hour. He couldn't resist it, even at the faster speed. He said, I got to get a bite of that. Yeah. This one here is another one for the de-hooker. If I can get hold of it. Come here, fish. You can have the bait, but give me the hook. Won't you calm down enough to, I ain't even gonna touch you, fish. I just want to get a hold of that. I just want to get a hold of that hook, that's all. Okay, y'all ready? Oh, there we went. I threw the bait off first time. I fling water, I got water all over my face again. I got y'all a little bit wet. Not too bad. Y'all dodged the bulk of it. Okay. let's get one here. Get that right there. That looks like a winner to me right there. Yeah, they've been all over these shad today. It's been a good day. It's been a good day for numbers. We got some quality. Definitely makes me feel better about my mindset coming out of thinking we could compete with less bait out on the channel, and that seemed to have worked out. Yeah, like I was saying about my battery, I had to do that little battery advertisement there on the last video, and so I'd used that battery on that trip. I'd used it one other trip too before that, and the last trip, and then I made a pretty long run today, and we're still at 60%. That's pretty good. This is definitely, that battery and the other one I got from the other company. The other one, that one's an Enjoy bot. The other one I got was a Litime, or Litime, Litime, I don't know how you say it. They're both definitely lasting longer than the batteries I had before. Not in the beginning. Now, the batteries I had before in the beginning were great. They just, after a couple years, they just wasn't holding the charge as good. And then last year they didn't get hardly any run time out of them before they'd be dead. So these will be like that too in no time probably. But right now, while they're good and new, I'm getting quite a bit of run time out of them. But I'll definitely need to charge it today. I need to charge my fish finder battery too. I got a little 30 amp hour for it. And that graph, I mean, that thing right there it don't pull much juice. I can charge that battery once every month or so, but it is about time to be charged, so I'll just take everything and charge it tonight when I get back. We will be good to go tomorrow or whenever I fish next. If I do fish tomorrow with the wind like it is, it's going to have to be from the bank, for sure. I mean, I might can find a spot tucked out of the wind to anchor down or something, but probably be better off on the bank. I'm trying to, you saw me turn just then. The old creek channel, you notice here, kind of turns, going back. Well, maybe about to reel in another one on that rod. But it kind of runs tight in here to the bank, and so I was just trying to follow it back out here. I think that fish is, I think he's on actually. He is. Well, the faster speed, it deterred some of the bites. We weren't getting the constant bites this time on the way out as we were on the way in, but we've still got a couple solid hookups at the faster speed. This one here I don't think is going to be much bigger on size than the other one. We'll see when we get him up here, but he's coming in pretty quickly and pretty easily. Where you at, fish? Come up here. Yeah. Oh, blue kitty. Come here, blue cat. I'll let you keep that bait if you want to. Let me keep myself from running up on the shore over here. Gotta keep an eye on that, y'all. Need one of y'all take over the steering wheel here while I'm pulling in a fish. I do with that thing? I just had that thing. What'd y'all do with it? There it is. Y'all hiding that thing from me. Yeah, let's get our D-hooker here. See you, fish. He gone. Let's go ahead and get another one on. Once we get right back out here, we will slow back down. Now we might could bust a fish out here in the channel going at the faster speed, but I'd feel better about it going a little slower. Okay. Down it goes. I don't know how many fish we've got today. It's been quite a few. It's been a very, it's been the most productive day that we've had since I've been back home from Florida. I mean, the fish on the last trip was bigger than anything we've got today, certainly, but like I said, we didn't get much to go with it. We just got 3 or 4 other small fish. And the small fish on that trip was smaller than our small fish today. Like that last trip, it was big fish or bust, really. Like we got the big fish and everything else was a bust. Out here on this session, we've at least had a variety. We've had the action and some better quality mixed in, so I'm pleased with how today has gone. Knowing what we know now in this creek, we've spent a fair amount of time in this creek. I kind of wish now we'd just kept going out here, but we do know there's a ton of bait in that creek. We know there's at least a lot of small cats in there, and I promise you, there's big cats going up in there too. There are. There's with that bait in there and a clear path from the shallows where the bait's at out here to the deeper water, like there's going to be big fish moving in and out. It's going to happen. So we at least know about that now. We've investigated it. If I fish tomorrow, maybe I end up coming back here or doing a bank trip. But knowing what we know now, it's probably safe to say that our time would have been better spent just to have kept going out here on this flat instead of coming up into the creek. Yes, we got fish in here, but for quality purposes, we'd have probably been better off to keep going. No way of knowing, but just my guess at this point. Hindsight's always 20/20, they say. I don't feel like my sight's been 20/20 in a while. I have to see nothing no more. But I ain't gonna see myself going to no eye doctor either, so I'll just suffer through it. It may take me 3 or 4 stabs to thread my 2-pound line through one of my ultralight jigs, but I eventually get it. I always do. I want to do some ultralight fishing here soon too. I ain't done any since I've been home. Well, I take that back. One day I went and netted shad. I took my ultralight rod. But I'm in the mood to do some ultralight fishing. The types of fishing that I do, I obviously like catching big fish, big catfish. But just from a fun perspective, I really like ultralight fishing. That's more than, I love it. It's more than like, I love ultralight fishing. It's just, you get so many fish. You get a variety of species. Everything feels big on the ultralight. Like, it's, how do you not enjoy it? And one of the things we're going to do at some point, I talked about it on the last video, but I haven't done it yet. And didn't want to do it coming out here today because I knew I was going to try to bust a striper or something on these live shad. But I'd like to take that rod that we got our live bait on right now and make a lighter weight, a more finesse presentation, I guess you would say, of a dragging rig. So like just take today right now. We've been going through this creek, right? We've been getting these fish that are hitting our baits and pulling on them, but they're not getting the hook as well as the bait. What I'd like to do is take that lighter tackle rod, use a smaller bait, a more finesse style, maybe even the same hooks that we've got on that live bait right now, with smaller baits, and drag it through. And, you know, do them side by side, where you've got your heavier tackle on one side of the kayak, you've got the lighter tackle on the other, and run a big bait, small bait. The way you can hopefully get your action to have some fun and be more enjoyable fun, catching those smaller fish on the lighter tackle, but still have a big bait out too, in case you come across big mama. Or maybe it works out, and I think if you did it long enough, it probably would, that you end up hooking into big mama on the lighter tackle rod. Because you get out there on a day where fish are, where they are just wanting a smaller bait or maybe a little bit more lethargic, and you pull that tiny bait in front of them, trigger a strike, it's on. And boy, that's going to be an ordeal if you hook into a 50-pound plus fish on that rod. Y'all going to have to bear with me. My nose is all snotty. It's messing with my voice. I need to blow my nose, but I don't want to do it right into this microphone, so I'm going to wait, because we're getting to that point and my battery's about dead. We ain't got a whole lot longer we can fish together. I'm probably going to fish another, let's see what time it is. It's 4:55 right now. I'm probably going to fish another 30 minutes or so. I want to make it back to the car before dark. And it's getting dark a little after 6 now, so I can fish till about 5:30 or so, make a run back. I've probably got at least a 30-minute run back to the car. Because I'm in a creek. I put in that creek downriver there on the other side of the channel, near the back of it. So I got a pretty good haul to get back to the car, but I'm gonna fish another 30. I don't think my battery will last another 30 minutes, but I'm gonna fish another 30 minutes. Just run up here out on the main channel a little bit here and work our way up and see what we can run into. A lot of these birds have made their way out. There's still a bunch sitting back there in the creek, but you can see that one right there just dove down and got him something. So I think some of those bait schools have worked out. And they're obviously up in the water column, because these birds aren't diving way down. They're getting there on the surface. But the bait has worked its way out here in front of this creek, kind of over this flat. I'm honestly a little bit surprised that we didn't get something else on the live bait today. I mean, with the bird action that we've seen in the schools of shad we've seen, like up in the water column, I'm surprised we didn't. I mean, yeah, we got that one blue cat on the live bait, but I'm surprised we didn't get something else with it. I do think that's something I'm going to try to incorporate a little more when we're doing this style, like when we're dragging baits, try to incorporate a live bait back there, whether it's, I mean, today we had bigger gizzard shad. Next time I go out, hell, I may not be able to get any gizzard shad. Maybe I get thread fins. But maybe bring a couple rods with me. Bring the rod we've got now. And I've got a light tackle rod with me. But like say we get, maybe we get some smaller thread fins. Put that out there on a lighter tackle rod. Maybe we get crappie or yellow bass or drum or something. Put out the bigger gizzard shad. If we get those live, maybe we get stripers or catfish or a big largemouth or whatever, you know. It would give us another option. It would allow us to fish the upper water column and the lower water column at the same time, and running one live bait back there, he can swim side to side any which way he wants to go, and he's not going to interfere with our other lines that's down on bottom. So it's a good, it's a good opportunity for us to do that, and it's just something that I personally don't ever do. I mean, typically, you see me out dragging baits, I'm just dragging baits. Or I'm dragging off the back and suspending baits off the front. When I have run baits off the back in the past while dragging, it's usually under a balloon, like I'm pulling cut bait under a balloon. Which in that situation, you are just going to get catfish 99.9% of the time. But you throw a big live bait back there, or even a small live bait, it don't matter, just a live bait in general, it really opens up a lot of possibilities for different types of fish. We may get a snag right here. We're coming across that's a brush pile. That's a fish on top of the brush pile too, but a brush pile there nonetheless. I'm gonna try to turn us here, start working up this flat before we get into it. Hey, look over there in the distance. I don't know if it'll show up on camera. There's a rainbow over there. There's a pot of gold somewhere on that rainbow. I've never found it, but I've been told my whole life if you see a rainbow at the end of it, pot of gold. I don't know what would you do if you found a pot of gold? Would you tell somebody? I think if I found the end of the rainbow and there's a pot of gold sitting there, I think I'd grab that gold and go straight to the pawn shop. I'd turn that in quicker, damn it. Cash in, buddy. I don't know what's caused that rainbow today. It ain't. Well, I guess it did sprinkle on me when I got out here. It's been a nice day, though. The wind's been perfect. Temperature's comfortable. Fishing's been good. Hardly seen any boats. It's been a good day. If I could get my nose to quit running, I'd really be set. You just can't have it all, folks. You just can't have it all. Yeah, I'm gonna stay the course. You know, I'm gonna work up through here about 30 more minutes, and you figure, oh, I gotta slow my speed down. Why didn't y'all tell me to do that? Hell, I told you I was gonna slow down when we got out here. You're supposed to remind me. But anyway, 1/2 mile an hour speed for 30 minutes, that's about 1/4 mile. So we're gonna work another about a 1/4 mile stretch up through here. I am anyway. I don't guess y'all gonna be sticking around much longer because my battery's about dead. In fact, what I may do is go ahead and cut the video off now, because I don't know if you can tell by my voice, but I'm holding in a lot of snot. And I know you don't care about this and you don't want to think about it, but my entire nasal and sinus cavity is full of snot right now, and I really need to blow my nose. So the fact that the battery is going to be dying soon anyway, and the fact that I really need to blow my nose, I think I'm just going to go ahead and cut the camera off now, call it a day with y'all, and yeah, get my nose blowed. I hope y'all can see that rainbow. I feel like it got brighter. Like I can see, I don't know if you can see the rainbow in the sky. Maybe you can see the reflection of it on the water. That's pretty cool. What a sight. That's a better sight to look at than of me blowing my nose, which I'm about to do, folks. So anyway, y'all, thanks for coming with me today. It's been fun. It's been a good day. Quality and quantity today. We've had a good time. Next video may possibly be in that creek, me bank fishing, if I go tomorrow. If I don't go tomorrow, then we'll probably be back out in the kayak sometime a few days. So anyway, thanks for coming with me. I got to blow my nose, y'all. I'll see y'all next time.